The Daddios in the house say hey.
It's too
Hey.
early to say hey.
Hey.
It's
Hey.
August 9:30 in the morning.
It sounded like I human centipeded you all, and I kidnapped you and put you in a basement. Welcome to Daddio. We are one less person joining us on the live stream in the chat because they are. Well, they're in the episode and they just awkwardly. People don't know this. We've been already been talking. Mike first started outside. It was just like, I can't go inside. My wife will beat me. And then we're like, dude, cicadas, go inside. He went inside. And then you just waited that whole time before lifting up that loud as fuck desk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Was fatiguing my back.
Mike, long-time listener, first-time guest.
Horror
Mike
movie
Flincham.
sound design, metal on metal.
Metal.
It's a spring.
Like designed to make you feel uncomfortable and like something.
It's designed to make you feel uncomfortable.
But hey, welcome to the comedy podcast that we do.
Oh no, he froze.
This is a great day. Everything's working so good. We're all having just no technical. I love that it's frozen on his weird little smile.
On his weird little smile. Judging
he
his
unfroze
smile
just to change it slightly and then freeze again. All right, fantastic. Here we are. Another week.
I can kill my. Let me just.
Daddy. I think that might be the move.
Let's
see if that helps the sound.
Yeah. And then rock the mic, Mike Flincham.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Welcome to the show, Mike Flincham. I've been roasting you mercilessly for the past half hour while we all try to get technology to cooperate, even though I don't actually know you that well. And I want you to know that I feel bad about it. But also, I will not stop.
You will not stop. He is like the T-1000.
Yeah. Well, does this T-1000 feel guilt for being a nasty little man?
Wait. Isn't the T-1000 Robert Patrick?
Yeah.
The gelatinous. I don't think he feels guilt. I don't think.
I know, but I said I do, but I can't stop. And you said, like the T-1000.
He didn't get that update.
No, I don't think he does.
He didn't get that iOS update.
I don't think. I also don't think he likes
empathy.
it.
Yeah.
Like when the T-1000 pretends to be your foster mom and kill your foster dad, he doesn't like that. That's what he's doing.
Oh, I hard disagree. I don't think there's any emotion.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't like it.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. He doesn't dislike it.
Yeah, he doesn't feel guilt about it. He doesn't enjoy it. He's just got to get John Connor.
We can't enjoy. Yeah.
I don't know anything you just said. It sounded like you were drowning a robot.
It sounded like a robot. It sounded like the Terminator is with the thumbs up as he's going down in the water. And he's like, I love you, John Connor.
Bruh, you're my best little pal. That's what he says, right? He goes, I love you, John Connor. You're my best little pal. Man, I host trivia once a week, and there was a line.
You know, a robot can't feel joy.
I mean, a cheap one. A good one. You get a good one, that's like an upgrade. You know, if you're willing to pay extra, you can make them like it.
No, don't let Mike. Mike was just like a comedian. Mike was pitching his new fan fic of like Philip K. Dick novels, and it's called A Robot Cannot Feel Joy.
I did. I was doing trivia, and it was like a famous line from a movie, and then the people had to write what movie it was, and the line was "Hasta la vista, baby," and people wrote Terminator. I was like, "Well, you're wrong," and they're like, "No," I'm like, "It's in Terminator 2," and they're like, "Oh, it's the same thing." It's not actually. It's not, no. It's two completely different movies. One different. Is fine. One surprisingly kicks so much ass still. We had the same thing with Alien and Aliens a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was the last line where she's signing off, and somebody wrote Aliens, but it was from the first one.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And they're like, oh, it's the same. It's not the same. I'm forgiving. I'm very forgiving with spelling.
Yeah.
Like if I understand what you're trying to write, you're in. You know,
they're two different
whatever.
things.
We're all hanging out at a bar, trying to type quickly on our phone. Mistakes are gonna happen.
I'm weirdly specific that way with George W. Bush and George H.W.
Yeah, you would
Bush.
have to be.
I'm like, let's be clear about
They're two very different war criminals.
one is a real big monster that like this shit doesn't get talked about because it's not dumb, fun, or like cute or whatever. And one like and then one is like possibly a straight up Nazi. Or was a straight up Nazi because he'd be dead.
Couldn't you just say 90s Bush?
Well, but then that's
2000.
a whole different thing. Because are you
No,
talking about the
that's-
band
I'm
from
talking
the
about
90s
70s
Bush?
Bush, baby.
Are you talking about female like Merkins? Like what do we like?
Well, neither one of those were presidents either. So
I think the
if you're
the
talking about
last
President
one was.
Bush.
I think we did briefly elect.
Shit,
a pubic
have you ever
wig
had?
to
You ever had?
office.
Yes, I think we have by now.
Yeah,
I think
I don't
in the
know.
year
Look, I'm not
2025.
gonna lie. I'm not that up
Whistle
on
ring.
history, but I think we did for a little bit. I don't think it was a full term. You know, I think it was like one of those things.
Which is weird because it was Republican and it didn't go full term.
Yeah. Well, you know how sometimes like the president will get surgery, so then the
Nothing.
vice
I
president.
got nothing for
You
that.
got one
That
polite
was-
chuckle from me.
Fuck
Go
you.
back and check the tape. I
All
politely
right,
chuckled.
All right. I heard nothing from Mike, but I can't tell if he's
Right.
lagging or if he.
I heard
chose not to
static, and the Locust are now inside the house.
That would be amazing if Mike's like, the camera won't work
He
now.
turns
The
the camera
locusts have
back on,
gotten
he's just
inside the
covered in
house.
bugs.
Yeah, just it's
Oh,
a
guys,
club
help!
house.
Stop making little jokes, please. I'm being eaten alive.
Ah, bees.
But there's the thing of like, if the president is getting surgery or whatever, they temporarily hand off
Mm-hmm.
to the vice president. So like, there were times where the vice president was the president, but it's for like a couple hours, so like it doesn't count.
Yeah.
If you say like, "Oh, was Mike Pence ever the president?" You'd be like, "Well, no." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, well, he was because this time." And but
When COVID or whatever that fucking thing was, that he went to the hospital for a little
Yeah.
bit, but yeah.
But they
No,
don't
I watch everything I know about politics is The West Wing, so they've had their fair share of those episodes when the president got shot, who was actually in power at that time, and there's a big kerfuffle. And
how
everything
far
I know is
down
West
the list of succession do you think we have to get before Ronald McDonald is the president?
God, I don't even think Ronald McDonald could become the president of McDonald's anymore. I think they have done as much as they could
17.
to distance.
He's over
themselves.
35 years
old. Mike says it as if he has the answer.
Thank
I
you,
bet that's
Mike,
pretty accurate too,
for
right?
answering the question and not being a little piss baby. Like, well, I don't think Ronald McDonald can be the president. Shut up, Ricky. We lost him. He died.
Oh,
The
no.
Locusts have taken another victim. Mike
do
Flincham,
like
you're
this line
great.
of
Again,
questioning, though.
I feel a little bad for constantly making fun of you, even though I don't know you that well. And you're kind enough to jump on this show, but I will continue to make fun of you throughout the episode. You're welcome back.
And also, you're only
This
getting
week,
a glimpse
any
now,
other
Glenn.
week. I mean, maybe upgrade your internet or buy a laptop from before 2010 or from after 2010. But
You're gonna feel like shit if that laptop burned his house down.
try
because
your
of how-
phone, dog. Just try doing it on your phone. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing is, I think he just got a new phone, but I still think it's a phone from like 5 years ago.
That'll probably do
Let
it.
me see. I'm gonna say maybe
Yeah.
try.
Hit your phone.
it
It'll be so
on
good. It'll be so
your
good and
phone.
right and fresh and gorgeous and sweaty. I'm just trying to encourage him
Yeah.
to get back on because my 7-year-old just asked me for cereal, and I told her, I was like, "Oh, if you need anything, don't worry about bugging Daddy because there's
Yeah.
going to be 2 other people, and I can just like step away."
Well, no,
But
you
then-
step away. I can give the people who are listening while we wait for this. And look, this is live radio, except for you're listening to it later and it's not live.
Yeah.
But you get
Let me
what
just
I'm
double
saying.
check real quick. Yeah. Oh no, we got 2. We got 2 on the live.
Oh hell yeah!
I was gonna say nobody's listening. Also, I'm worried because I don't have pants on. That if I stand up, we're going full hog on
Well,
me.
you
So
can
I am
turn off
gonna-
your camera. I will give people.
You know what?
the,
No, I'm gonna risk it.
Okay. I'm. Oh, we didn't see any tush. I was gonna say I'm gonna give the backstory on Mike Flincham. Mike Flincham is a friend of mine that I met when I was, probably 7 years old, and he played on our baseball team for a short amount of time that my dad coached. I think maybe only for a season, maybe 2 seasons, maybe a season and a half. I'm not sure. But where we really became good friends was in 5th grade. We had already known each other and we were in the same class. And I remember talking about some pretty nerdy stuff with him. One of which being Star Wars. And he was the first person. He's just like, oh yeah, he's like, my dad. Um, he's read the books or something or whatever. He was one of the first people. This is like like the internet existed, but we weren't talking stuff like, oh, hey, you see that on the internet? He was like, yeah, he's like, I know how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. It was on a lava planet, and Obi-Wan Kenobi and him got into a lightsaber battle, and
just like Snowball.
Anakin got knocked into the lava, and that's how he became Darth Vader. I'm telling the origin story of my friendship with Mike Flincham.
Okay.
Played baseball together as like 7-year-olds on my team that my dad coached, but we became really good friends in 5th grade when he was the first person who told me, based off of something his dad had read and not like an internet thing, like I found this on the internet, how Darth Vader became Darth Vader, which was Obi-Wan and him were fighting on a lava planet.
Yeah, I've seen the movie, Doug.
This is pre that though. This is in 5th grade.
Yeah, but we know now.
I know, but I'm saying
you don't have to recap that part of the story.
Hearing that though for the first time, that was one of the first times we really bonded. I was just like, oh my god! I was like, this is Star Wars. I don't know, because this is prequels. Like,
yeah,
I was like, oh man, like, what is that? Fucking what's the book? Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
I don't know, man. I'm not reading books.
I'm not reading books. You read way more books than I do. But any hoodles. The other thing we bonded over was a lot of different weird kind of comedy and different stand-up. And one of the things that we shared in the comedy world kind of at the same time was Mystery Science Theater 3000.
The best. That's how I became friends with my friend Dwayne.
Ooh, what?
Had a Mystery Science Theater 3000 shirt on in biology class. And I said, I don't know anybody else who watches that show.
Where was it at?
Until he mysteriously disappeared.
Really?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh no.
We occasionally see him around. Every time we do, he acts incredibly weird and will like end the conversation and then just like almost literally run away. So
do
Dwayne,
you think he had a breakdown?
You're out there?
Sorry, I don't want to hypothesize.
I truly don't know.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate, genuine mystery.
I'm gonna text Flincham one more time. Just say join from your phone. I'm gonna say.
I think that's probably the play, but you're welcome on. You know, if not, I don't know if you had any specific plans.
No.
Of what to make Mr. Flincham talk about. I don't know if he's got anything to plug. I don't know what his life is like.
No.
Does he want to describe early Star Wars lore? Whatever he's got going on.
Yeah. It was just gonna be. He is incredibly developmentally important to
not what I thought you were going to say.
I was gonna say to my why I do comedy, how I do comedy, how I got into comedy. He's just a big part of that because, like I said, MST3K and horror movies too. Like we did a weekend slumber party over at like his or overnight. I guess guys didn't necessarily call it slumber party. It's just two dudes sleeping in a basement watching all the Elm Street movies from like 3 p.m. after school one day till like 7 a.m. the next morning. I think
that's a lot of them.
7 because Freddy vs. Jason wasn't out yet.
It's too many.
What was your introduction? Who was the host of MST3K when you first?
Oh, when I first started watching, it was Mike.
Yeah.
It was the. Here we go.
Second worst.
It was. I remember finding Mystery Science Theater 3000. So it was
Mike Flincham just throwing back with the name tag second worst guess ever. If you're listening and you're not watching,
I'm so bad at remember. So at trivia last night, one of the categories was the years 2010 through 2019, and there's 10 questions, so each year was the answer to one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I would genuinely probably go 0 out of 10 because I'm so bad at remembering years that things happen.
Yeah.
But it was probably freshman year of high school, possibly 8th grade or something. But like I came back from a thing where I was hanging out with other students at whatever school I was at the time. Like friends, I guess is the word I was looking for. I was hanging out with friends. But I got back late, and then I put on the TV, and it was on. So children in the times before flat screens at all, like
Oh,
you would
yeah.
turn your TV on, and it would just be on the last channel that you were watching, not a weird
Yes.
menu that you had to navigate through.
Yes.
So I used to watch a lot of the Sci-Fi Channel, so I would turn it on, and it was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it was some weird old movie, but then there was like the cutouts
Yes.
at the bottom of the screen, and they're making jokes about it. I was like, I don't know what this is, but immediately I love it. And
Yes, it's
so
and
I
then
got
you
really
see the
into it.
interstitials, and like there are people who have their own opinions of like the in-betweens and like what your favorite hosts are for those, but like actually with the puppeteering and the robots and the little sketches, sometimes referencing the movie, sometimes not, sometimes inspired, sometimes just absurd.
Yeah.
Like some people love those, some people hate those, some people are indifferent, but that is a show that I think I came across very similarly that you just described. And then when I kept on watching, and then it went into the in-betweens and the miniatures of like going through the doors,
Yeah.
just all of it, all the world, I was just like, what is this? Like Sesame Street for adults? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on
Mr.
here?
Science Theater 3000, the movie, is a thing
Yes.
that like we would put on, not at parties, but like I'd be hanging out with my wife and one of my other friends. We would like, if we hung out long enough on any given day, eventually we would put on Mr. Science Theater 3000, the movie.
Yes.
Or like we would just randomly quote it to each other. If something is close to a line from it and my wife is around, like we will laugh about it, but we're not like throwing lines at each other back and forth.
Yes.
There's a line in Good Grief that I basically lifted from MST3K, the movie, only because my wife was there. And if you watch it, you can hear there is like one laugh at the line in the audience, and that is my wife. It is, I talk about how I'm not depressed because my brother died. I'm depressed and my brother died. Like I've been depressed before. I don't remember exactly the point in the show that it comes in, but the line is, I talk about how I've dealt with depression before. I was like, this is not a sensation altogether new to me, which is what Tom Servo says when he's like sealing the hole in the
altogether
hull.
new to me.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, if I say
And
this,
I love it.
my wife will laugh.
Yeah.
Which is the only reason that line is in the show.
To Tipperary.
I love it so much.
It's so good. So that is part of that movie specifically, besides just the show, is so then from 5th grade is Mike Flincham laying the knowledge on me that his dad knew from reading something about how Darth Vader on a lava planet gets pushed in by Obi-Wan. Then MST3K, we're off and on, like it's kind of more like if you're in classes together, you're kind of friends or whatever, unless you live right next to one another. So Mike was a friend that always came in and out of my life. And then we were in classes together in 7th grade and 8th grade. And for his 7th grade birthday or 8th grade birthday, we had rented Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie, on VHS from Showtime Video that I think referenced before. And we watched it how many times, Mike? Nick Prince was there.
He's here. He's muted. The camera appears to be on because there's weird lights and stuff going on. I don't know.
We're going to see a
going
hostage situation. Yeah. And I'm going to be very upset.
Truly, I don't know what is happening.
We had to have watched it at least 10 times.
We just put it on and whatever.
So you have the mute icon, but I heard you. I'm going to blame Riverside for this. You're off the hook. I mean, the Locust might be an issue too, but anyway.
The end of days might be to blame. Yeah.
Enjoy your last week of use, Riverside.
But so we watched, so again, like Mike and I know like we would talk about like different stand-ups, different pop culture stuff. So very influential. But before we go any further, hopefully Mike can then join us more in conversation, I'm going to play the theme song written specifically for this week. Again, another awesome tech issue. It's going to be played from my phone, so apologies. Only small apologies for the longest intro ever. But in honor of Ozzy.
We all have an origin story of how we started a thing. Not always including dead parents or a radioactive biting. From my recollection, Mike Fletcher one day said to me, they're teaching stand-up at Newport on the levee. Funny Bone Comedy Club in Northern Kentucky. I'm signing up. The teacher is Jeff Jenner, and there's this beatboxing idea I have that I'm gonna try on stage. But Mike Fletcher did not sign up. It was a daddy-o who had to go and take that class of stand-up comedy intro. This is where it all began. A daddy-o became a man. 25 fucking years ago, you told me of disappointment, and now for 20 years I've been a comedy disappointment. So I guess what this daddy has got to say to that's true. Mike Fletcher, I now curse my stand-up comedy. And for that, I say, thank you.
So that is the first half of the theme song. I'm going to play the other half of the theme song at the
Ooh, a
at the end
two-parter.
of the episode. Mike, you were gone for it. I don't think you heard it. I will summarize. You are introducing me to stand-up because when I was in college, so flash forward post high school, we've done theater together. We're in classes. We've done plays. We've done sketches together. We've written.
Lots.
We lied. We were in select drama
did
class.
what?
We're in select
Did you learn
drama
nothing
class.
from dry bar editing your story out? Stop glorifying
Lying.
doing sins.
Glorifying. Oh, well, how have I not used that as a name of something? Glorifying.
Also, Flincham, you look great now.
yeah.
Thank
do
you.
look great.
That
You
video
I
is
feel
looking
great.
crisp
20
and
years
smooth.
younger. But
You can
so
wait.
we're in select drama in senior year. Like kids in our high school, like Campbell County High School, has a pretty good reputation for
Go Camels.
theater and meth at that point. And kids are dying to be in select drama. It's like an elective. It's like a pre-college, like you got college credit or something or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Our senior project is supposed to be, we're supposed to be working with another classmate. It's a team project. And you're supposed to be putting together one act and a pitch and a script of a show, of a play, with all the knowledge we've learned throughout the year about play script and shows and blah blah blah. You have to cast it, you have to write the set, like blah blah. You have to do all of it. That would be in like one of those that you rent out. I can't think of the name of the company that has like the stronghold over play script rentals for high schools.
I know there is one, but
Oh,
I
geez.
wouldn't be able to pull the name.
It's on the front, Williams or Jefferson or Joseph something, whatever. But
Those are some names, yeah.
it's like you have to do like one act though, so the all of this in one act to show what we've learned throughout the year. So Mike and I are just like, oh yeah, we're gonna write this musical, like this original musical. We have all these ideas. It's gonna sound like this. It's Welcome to Macabre. It's basically like dude commits suicide at the beginning, but then it's a Fantasia into this dreamland.
No. He had
Sleeping
insomnia. So
Yeah.
he was taking sleeping pills and
And he
he goes into a
ODs.
coma. Yeah, he goes into a coma, so all this is happening inside of his head. And he's in a hospital. He's a vegetable.
It's basically us
And-
doing if we did a stage version of A Nightmare Before Christmas, but instead of Jack Skellington coming into a different world, it's a human coming into like this like nightmare world.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was like a little bit Nightmare on Elm Street, a little bit Monkey Bone, a little bit
Oh
like
yeah, Monkey Bone. Good
Nightmare
point.
Before Christmas because just like the weird misshapen stuff. And
Yeah, we were
I
Monkey
mean,
Bone fans.
I was gonna
we had
say
it
I don't. You look like a Monkey Bone
99%
fan.
done.
We look like Monkey Bone fans. Another weird judgment from Glenn Tickle.
I've got no beef with Monkey Bone.
Okay.
I just, if I had to list people that I know and their friend from high school who love Monkey Bone, you guys would be on the list for sure.
I mean, Brendan Fraser, Chris Kattan. What are you gonna do? You know,
I watched it for with Blank Check when they covered it fairly recently, and that was the first time I'd seen it since it was in theaters. Because I think I was working at.
Who directed it that they would cover it on Blank Check?
It might have been
Is it a one-off?
No, it was
Sorry, I know I could look this up.
Yeah, so could I. But was it Nightmare Before Christmas Cat? Harry Selleck?
No, maybe that would make sense visually. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg, like it's the landscape is. I mean,
Harry Selleck.
Mike, your name up there
That's
is the
right.
second worst guess. Who's the first worst guess?
oh, I don't know. I was just trying to.
And
make
can
people think.
hosts count as guests?
Yeah. Are we the worst guess? So anyway, so Mike
I
and
just
I,
want to.
we're in the select drama class senior year, and we know about this final project at the beginning of the year. It's part of one of the things we're going to do, part of the syllabus. And then like after we come back from winter break, it's like, now you all should start getting started with this. And our teacher, Mr. Bertucci, he's like, we can have
Shout out to the
consultations and stuff. And like, we're working, Bertucci's the only director, and we're in all of the shows really. And so we're seeing Bertucci a lot. He's seeing us a lot. And we're like, we're gonna pair up, and he's like, all right, like no monkey business, like whatever. And we're like, oh, no. And so he hears us talking about this all the time. He hears us working out these songs. I don't play guitar very well. You at the time, maybe were you playing drums?
I had drums and bass.
Okay, so like we weren't adding any instruments. We were literally just like a cappella singing, and like I found these handwritten lyrics, no chords or anything on it, and just like etchings of like drawings, but like nothing that made any sense or was cohesive. But Bertucci, what's important to this, had seen us do this.
Yeah.
Coming the last month of school, we're supposed to turn these in for our final grade before graduation, and Mike and I are like, we've not written anything. Like we've not put in.
We had a blue binder that was full of pieces of paper that had like you said, we had all the song lyrics. We had all set designs, just different
Bertucci
things.
at play rehearsals after school had seen us with this blue binder.
all the time.
But this was not our plan at the beginning. We fully intended. But then when we got down to it, we're like, oh, this is a musical, and it would require us writing all these character designs and all this. We're like, we were fools. Like, we've been at too big of an apple. And we're like, we can't do this. Like, this is insane. We have 3 songs. We'd have to fully produce and chord out like 3 songs. Like, this is insane. But because Bertucci knew this, what did we do when everybody was turning in their binders, their folders for their final project?
I had said, oh no, I left it. I'm going to turn it in. I'll turn it in to you by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. So then he comes to me a few days later, and he's like, where's your your report? And I was like, are you kidding? I put it on your desk. It was the blue binder. You know, the blue binder. I put it on your desk. It was in your room.
Everything. It had everything. We didn't have copies. We didn't save this on a computer. We printed
That was my only copy. Like, I don't know. And he was like, you could tell he was just a little bit afraid.
You're like, that had hand drawing. You've seen us draw that. Like, you've seen us work on this. You could
be fair,
gaslit him.
We did have quite a bit in that binder. But it was
we didn't lose it. I found it. We still had it. It's a handful of crazy homeless guy drawings, and like
I still have it. I still have it. It's in my basement.
I recently recovered 8th grade. I had a project. It was me, my friend Haller, and then 2 of our other friends, but Haller and I did all the work. Greg and Drew, you guys know you got that A for nothing. We had to do a children's book. So basically, I wrote and drew a children's book, and then Haller like put it together. Like he assembled the book, and like he basically worked as the publisher. I was the creative, and then Drew and Greg we would like bounce ideas off of. But Haller and I 4 years have been like, man, it sucks that we can't find Happy and Bobo. Like that thing was so good. But we would always argue over whose parents' house it was left at.
Oh,
And
nice.
I was like,
A
you had
Rashomon
it.
situation.
Yeah. And he's like, no, because my parents sold the house. We would have found it. And then my parents are getting ready to sell the house. So they've been going through all the stuff and they dropped it off recently. And I was like very happy to have it, but
Yeah.
like pretty pissed off that I was wrong and that they
And that
had
you're
it the whole
stubborn.
time that Haller didn't. Yeah.
Smug genie.
So genuinely part of me when it turned up is like, I have to burn this. I can't. He can't ever know.
There can't be evidence.
Yeah.
But no, and so the end of the story is he Bertucci felt so bad and gave us an A.
Did you really drop the thing off on his desk though? The way
No.
you told the
No.
story, you left it. Okay,
no,
brilliant.
no.
We had nothing.
100% lie.
We had
Then you get an
nothing.
A+ for acting. Like that's
And I think
that's a
you
deserved
told-
grade. That's a
And I-
theater
so-
class. That's a
but
skill that you need.
Here's the one to our credit of our like we have to make do with what we have is we did for the longest time procrastinate, but get to a point where like, no, this will come together. We'll be able to do this. We'll be able to do this. And then it's our senior year. And like, of course, like, and we're in a show, we're in the final musical.
Mhm.
This, it's a big musical, Crazy for You. And we're being kids. And we got to the point where just like, oh no, this can't happen. Like one, there's not his old man fucking speak. The internet and there's no phones. It's not like we can pull up an app where it's just like make
Mhm.
these chords, make these AI songs like we do now. And because we could have done that.
That you do now. Just
Yeah, that I do now. Well, other people.
don't lump
other,
me in with this.
It's a tool. It's out there to be
You're a
used.
tool.
I am a tool. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we would have had to get.
I have.
We'd had to take time and have access to a desktop computer, get into Microsoft Word, type
But
it
in
all
all
out, print it all
fairness,
out, and all
if
that stuff.
we had not procrastinated and not pushed it off by the fear of, oh yeah, we'll do it, or like I don't know how we're gonna do it. Like if we'd have gone to Mr. Myers, who was fucking unhinged, like he probably could have put together a basic like chord out like of
I think
a song.
I mean, yeah, I think it would have been great if it wasn't
we'd have
just a
done it.
fever dream. Yeah.
Then in the last minute, like I remember, here's the thing though, is it all came together because when we were like, there's no way we can even make this look like what we said. Like we are not going to get a good grade for this. Like this is going to show procrastination. I don't remember which one of us did it. We're just like, what we do is we know he's seen this. Because we know he's said something about your blue Bible. Like we knew that he was aware that like this is how we can fool this fucker. Like this is how we can Michael Mann heist this guy, like Ocean style. And I think we were just like, and we both knew the story because I think you're like, so this is what I'm gonna say to him here. So if he says something, you want to be like, what? No, Mike, put it on your desk. Oh no,
We did corroborate, yeah.
our
Yeah, well, I mean,
dreams.
But now the way that Glenn puts it, I kind of feel better about it because hey, it was an acting class.
Oh,
Truly.
the greatest acting of all.
That's the prestige, baby. Like you guys pulled it off.
So Mike is I've always felt there's countless stories. Mike is a bit, so we used to sit at a lunch table, all the people are in select drama. It was a real fucking cool table. Would go down to lunch together, and Mike, unbeknownst to us as a bit, or we couldn't even hear it as a bit because it's like being in the stand-up world of being with other comics and like they're working bits, but clearly Mike he was just like, you know what I just found out? He's like, the Dorito is it actually comes from the Japanese word dorito, which is you probably said Chinese.
Which is a Chinese
The Japanese, yeah, you probably said it's a Japanese word. This means Chinese throwing star. If you said it that way, that'd be amazing. Like that's your usual suspects, like Clue, where we were just all fucking too stupid. No, but I think you're like it's a Japanese word for Japanese throwing star or Chinese word for Chinese. Do you remember what the bullshit
Yeah,
was?
no, yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
remember. I said it was Japanese for the a specific type of throwing star, and
Yeah.
that's why it has its shape. So it's a three-pointed throwing star. That's why they made the Dorito the same that shape.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And
based off of that. And we were all just like, oh. And it was like months later, you were just like, hey, you know that shit I sold you like months ago? That was all made up. And we were all just all like
well, at
it
first
was just it's like
I
you're
was just
testing
joking.
like material.
No,
Hey, I
I was
just double
just was
checked,
bored.
guys. Number
And
9. Thou shalt not bear false witness. You guys, I gotta say, you're both going to hell forever. It's in the top 10. Those are the ones he really cares about, you know?
We're lying, we're
Ooh.
cheating.
I'd have to double check the thing about stealing the Burt Reynolds medallion, but
Oh,
oh
yeah,
boy,
yeah.
that's up there too, you know?
Oh, I'm sure.
oh, the Burt Reynolds door handle that your dad
Yeah.
took.
The
That's
face,
still one of my favorite stories.
the gold faceplate. But so like, but your sense of humor, Mike, was always I don't even know how to describe it. Different. I was really fortunate that I feel like I think Mike is no pressure for the rest of the episode. One of the funniest people I've ever met, and also no
God,
slight
I'm right
against
here.
no slight
You know I
against
can
Glenn.
hear this, right?
But that's why I wanted to have this all together. So in the theme song, it was mentioned. My introduction to stand-up was I went to college. I couldn't get on the school's improv team, which I desperately wanted to audition like 3 times, couldn't get on. And I was looking for a comedy outlet. Mike is somebody who I had filmed sketch comedy with. When you were talking about 8th grade in our friend's
Oh,
basement,
jeez.
Nick Prince,
Yeah.
we would film these now that are highly offensive sketches. And not like Mike played a character called the Jew. Like, and there was nothing we knew about the Jewish culture.
No.
Like, we weren't doing
You
like
hate to see it.
we did a
No.
non-blackface parody of Ebony and Ivory.
That
where
was you
it
and
was
Nick.
Paul
that did-
McCartney and Stevie Wonder fighting during the recording of the song, but still keeping like because we were just playing the song and but lowering the like the piano bench or whatever on the person's hands and stuff. Anyway, not good stuff.
Well,
No one
look,
should take credit for any of that.
in defense of what you were talking about, the character was called Cooking with Stu or Stu's Diner. So the
And that's
character
the
was named
only
Stu.
reason.
So we were like, oh, Stu, that rhymes with Jew. We'll have my friend, the Jew, and that was it. There was nothing more to it. But
There
it
was
was
nothing. There was literally
Brave of you
nothing
guys
more
to be like,
it.
hey, you know what we should talk about publicly on a podcast in 2025? Some messed up shit we did as teens. You guys could just
Oh,
you don't
because
have to tell people you did this.
No. Because here's the thing: is that shit's out there. Like, if it could be out, it could be out there, and
you're gonna
again-
Barbra Streisand it as hard as you possibly can.
No, I'm not gonna hide it. I'm not gonna Paul Rubens it. Like, I'm not gonna scorch it from earth or act like it didn't happen. I'm gonna say that's who I was, and it was dumb. Like, but again,
I genuinely there has to be stuff out there like that for me.
You
that
don't
I
think
just
that-
don't remember.
that you
Because
don't
like I
remember
did the
doing?
same thing. Like my friends and I were all, like running around with video cameras from like 6th grade on, and it's like, yeah, there's got to be something messed up on a VHS-C tape in somebody's basement.
Oh, and so Nick Prince's dad was a freelance for like different media, football games and whatever. And he worked for a different couple companies doing as well, which is fine because Nick now does that for the Cincinnati Reds. So he had old equipment, like big tape that we would use, and then we would transfer over to VHS and do our slate
Is that
editing.
that's baseball, the Reds?
Yeah.
See,
Cincinnati
I know
Reds
things.
baseball.
I know.
You're an educated boy. But the most taboo. So we didn't even think Ebony and Ivory or Cooking with Stu, which was a returning character, happened more than once. In this sketch comedy show that we did, the most taboo one that I remember us thinking at the time, where we're like, "Oh, this is really some Northern Kentucky boys. This is really some white hot 12-year-olds are really thumbing." Is we built a sheet in this basement wall. There's a flat basement wall, like shotgun style. We had a blue sheet that we rigged up with yarn,
Mhm.
and it was the sketch was Moses parting the sea, even though I believe it's Red Sea, we used a blue sheet. Parting the sea.
You know it's not. You know the water's not red, bud. Right?
Is it not? I don't know. No, but I didn't know in like the depict. Okay, so then we did it right. I
love
don't
you
know.
so much, Ricky.
It
Carter.
also
You
didn't
bring
happen.
so much joy to my life.
No, it also didn't
on purpose
happen.
and on
So it
accident, and
doesn't
either
matter.
either way, I love it.
All right. So anyway, the sketches. I go like this, and like I say the Moses line or whatever part in the sea, and then someone off camera goes, "Moses, can I get an autograph?" And I turn and go, "Oh, sure." And I swipe a wave like this of the blanket, and all you hear is the same person off camera go,
"Ah!" Yeah, that's
and
great.
I go,
put that in your next Dry Bar special. They'll love it.
We thought that was like, oh man, like take that religion. We didn't think of any of the other dumb stuff.
I think that is a fairly tame swipe at religion.
Oh, yeah. No, but I'm saying us in 8th grade, we were just like,
I'm sure there's people who disagree with me and would be legitimately angry with you. But that's like, have I talked about the joke about my daughter's favorite Bible story on here before?
I think so. But
I think in one of the church gigs, where because it's her at the time she was 5 or 6. She was it must have been maybe slightly older, 6 or 7, because she was in Catholic school at the time. She's like, "Do you want to hear my favorite Bible story?" And I was like, "Not really, if I'm being honest." And she's like, "No, you'll like it. It's funny." And then she told me the plagues, and I was like, what about this is funny to you?"
Excuse me?
And it's because she had like the illustrated children's Bibles. So it's like cartoon frogs falling out of the sky.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, yeah, I could see how to you
it's like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Funny. Yeah, it's essentially that. They kind of brush over the whole murdering children thing.
Cloudy with a Chance of Death of Firstborn.
Yeah, I just
what they
want to
did.
show you guys a picture. And again, if I could get OBS to work properly, I would have just brought it up on the screen, but I can't, so I'm gonna hold my phone up like it's the 1800s,
like a savage,
so that you guys can see it. And then I'm gonna ask you guys how everybody else's weekend was. That's me and my new friend W.D. Richter, director of Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh wow!
My most favorite movie. I saw it this weekend with him. Like I was sitting right behind him during the screening. Hung out. We got lunch and dinner together. Got to ask him a bunch of questions about the movie, where I was trying to not be annoying by asking too many questions. But then I was also there with some other people that I know who put together a World Watch One, the fanzine, about it. And we were all, I think there was 5 of us, and we were all trying to like ask the questions that we wanted to ask without coming across as annoying, but also trying to do the math of like, well, there's 5 of us, so like we all have to dial it back a little bit.
Sure.
But he was clearly pretty into it, and he's like, you guys are basically celebrities to me and Earl Mac Rauch, the writer of the movies, like, because you guys, we made this thing 40 years ago, and you guys know more about it than we do. And the other guys I was there with, in fact, know so much more about it than I do, because I can't keep facts in my head very well. I just come at it from a guy who loves it. They're like, oh no, they know like hard facts on this thing. And I know like all the trivia and stuff, but they were great to meet and work with as well. I have a thing I have to work after this call. I have to put together a writing thing for them for the next issue of the fanzine. It is great. It was also the most amount of socializing I have done in years of like meeting new people and trying to come across as a normal, likable guy. And it was so exhausting that like
but there's no guarantee when you meet somebody who has created something that has for no better term that I can think of, touched you,
impacted your life,
and impacted, or just just sparked something that made you connect to it. there is no guarantee that that person is going to be someone you're going to enjoy meeting.
Right. I mean, that's the whole "don't meet your heroes" thing.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
Or
I
understand that
disagree.
people are people. Yeah.
Yeah, like meet them, but like understand they are just also people. Like
When
I've
you meet
met
gotta
Mike
think of
Flinch,
how
when you
many-
meet Mike Flincham,
Right,
like he
like-
might not be Hardware Store Bob from All Your Friends Are Dead. He might
Might
be.
not.
He might
meeting
not.
Mike Flincham now, I can tell you, meet your heroes. Get out there, track Mike Flincham down. I'll give you his address after the show. You go find that man.
You have to think of how many freaks that guy has had to talk to over 40 years.
Oh, I mean,
Who
honestly,
were
I
just-
was gonna say not a lot because Buckaroo is a fairly forgotten film, unfortunately, but also Big
List
Trouble
his
in
other
Little China.
credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in
I
Little
don't
China,
know.
Body Snatchers. I watched one of his early writing credits, Slither, recently with the James Caan movie, which is like also great. I mean, I'm not gonna obsess over it in the same way that I've done with Buckaroo, but it's
Is Slither the one in that big giant complex where
No.
like everybody's living in this building together?
No,
It's
I
this
think that
body
might
horror.
also be called Slither. But
Okay.
this is just James Caan is like a recently released convict who like
Okay.
gets picked up by jail by his buddy and then gets like sent on a vaguely crime related adventure. It is great because it is framed as this crime thriller, but it is also like genuinely kind of funny. The characters in it are like all really interesting. Where it's James Caan is he's just trying to get his life together, and he keeps meeting the weirdest people. Peter Boyle is like the guy that he's supposed to meet to find all this
I'm
stolen
man.
money.
now.
And
You
but
in-
Peter
you
Boyle is
introduce
like
a good like weird character actor like a
Yeah.
Jeffrey
Yeah.
Tambor or a Peter
big
Boyle.
fan.
I'm in.
And Peter Boyle
That's
is
perfect.
like
Yeah.
he's like he's a comic musician where like he plays in a band, but he's the one doing bits in between. And he's like the soundtrack kicks ass because he's like obsessed with jazz. So he's like trying to talk to Jazz about James Caan, and James Caan mostly just wants to be left alone, and he keeps meeting weird people. It's great. I highly recommend people check it out, or just watch Bucker Banzai twice a week, like I do. But the night before that, I saw a screening of one of my other favorite movies, Frank, with the writer and member of the Frank Sidebottom Oh Blimey Big Band, John Ronson, who is, before I knew he was in Frank Sidebottom's band, was already one of my favorite writers. He wrote Men Who Stare at Goats, The Psychopath Test, does great work. And then he put out this thing about his
Things
time.
that do not translate always 100% to film.
Yeah,
that he had
like
written.
Men Who Stare at Goats is an interesting book and a weird, boring movie. He
Yes.
wasn't involved in the movie.
It's not his fault.
But he wrote Frank,
Mike,
and
it's
it's
not
like
his fault.
a fictionalized account of his time in the band. And as I mentioned, when we talked to Chuck Tingle, I brought Frank up because Chuck Tingle had his camera off during our interview, but when he does interviews, he wears a pink bag and sunglasses so that you can't see who he is. He talks in an affected, weird voice.
I had offered to Chuck Tingle's agent who goes through his interview bookings, and I was like, hey, if it helps, he doesn't have to wear, because I knew he was doing press for his new book. I was like, if it helps, he doesn't have to have his video on. We can do just a audio.
I'll never forget.
So he doesn't have to wear the mask. And that's the first thing he said, like before we started rolling camera, because we didn't know if he was going to come on camera or not. And he came on no camera, and he was just like, I just want to thank you guys like for not making me wear the mask or do a video. And he's like, I'm doing a lot of these today. And he's like, it's nice just to have the camera off. And we were like,
I'm glad he got a break, but it would have been nice,
And he was fantastic. I mean, if you haven't
Oh,
listened to
that
that
was a
episode,
great interview. That was a super great interview. Like,
when I
after
mentioned
you
Frank
did that, I
Sidebottom
did a
to
deep dive on
him, I really expected him to be like, oh, yes, I love Frank Sidebottom. I know a lot, like, obviously a big influence on why I wear a pink bag on my head. And he just didn't seem to know who I was talking about. And look, Frank had a much smaller impact here in the United States than he had in the UK. Like, there's a literal statue of him in his hometown. He was a big deal over there and more of like a curiosity here. But I got to talk to John Ronson.
Very similar to What's His Nuts, who just had that biopic come out where he envisions himself as a chimpanzee.
Oh, yeah.
The singer.
Yeah,
Robbie,
Oh, man.
Robbie Williams.
Yeah, where it's like,
Robbie-
yeah, he had a couple hits here, but like,
Is that his?
it's Robbie
He was
Williams.
huge in
Yeah.
England. Yeah,
Yeah,
Robbie
but, like,
Williams was huge.
Just
in
genuinely
every time
one
they
of-
try to bring him over here, it's kind of like the Mean Girls meme, like quit trying to make fetch.
He would have a couple
Yeah.
hits, like he'd chart over here every once in a while, and people are like, "Oh yeah, whatever, this song's fine," and he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm doing a national tour," and they're like, "Oh well, we're not coming. We don't want to hear the one
And
song."
what I think's interesting is like the approach from the director. I think it was Greatest Showman director.
Yeah, that's who
or-
directed Robbie Williams. I don't
So,
remember that cat's name, but I
Rob,
know
yeah, but
he
so
did the Monkey
they were
movie.
like when they were talking, they were just like, so let's address that, like you're not as globally known. So if it's a movie about your life, which I think is great, like, and we have this music, he's like, what if we did an angle where you were an animal? What animal would you be? And he's like, I thought like I'd be like a lion or something. I said, be like a lion. And he's like, yeah, no. What if you were a monkey? And it's just like the way he's interviewed about it.
And only
doesn't-
you.
He doesn't, yes, and he doesn't show an awareness. He's like, "Oh right, man, yeah, monkey." He's like, "I'll see it."
I
man."
haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
I'm a monkey.
I will
And it's
never
just like,
watch it.
you just got marketed to this dude's like, dude, I'll do this as long as people who don't know you in the United States are like, maybe I'll go see it because of this weird monkey musical by the guy who did Greatest Showman and La La Land or whatever.
Yeah.
But like watching him in interviews talk about, he's like, yeah, he's like, that's when I knew he was the director for this job. And it's just like, it's like,
I will
no,
never
it's-
watch the Monkey movie, and people are like, "No, you should.
it's-
It's great." And I was like, "I don't care. It could be
But you
the best."
also wouldn't watch Greatest Showman. Like I genuinely,
No, I've seen Greatest
did-
Showman, and
I dug Greatest Showman. Yeah.
I watched it on the road. It's not a movie I would have seen otherwise, but like I was on the road, had time to kill. That's the movie that was starting at a convenient time, and I like going to see movies in the theater, and I can't.
And the movie that you had time to kill for wasn't the movie Time to Kill, because then
No.
you would have watched that. probably.
If it's not something I can bring my kids to, I usually don't get a chance to see it unless I'm on the road. So it's
Yeah.
like whatever. I did a show. It ended fairly early, and it's like, well, I'm not going to go to bed at 8:00. I don't want to just sit in the hotel room. I'll go see a movie.
Time to jerk it.
What's starting now? Oh, Greatest Showman. Whatever. I don't care
Time
about
to jerk it.
musicals. That's after. It's like I'm not
Hugh
really that
Jackman.
into musicals. P.T. Barnum was a piece of shit, but I'm genuinely interested in
And
his
here's
life.
another regular segment of Listen to a Podcast That's Better Than Ours. The Dollop episode on P.T. Barnum is a fantastic listen that is not behind a paywall that you can listen to free for now. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, he sucks, but is interesting in the history of entertainment, you know? And I knew like it wasn't really about him, but it's like, whatever. I have 2 hours. I'll go watch this movie. And I cried a bunch in it.
Yes.
And it
me too.
was because it's sappy as hell, but it's also like pretty late. I just finished doing a show. I was on the road, like kind of missing my wife and kids. And then they're like, yeah, I
It's
just sat there.
about doing something for the betterment of your family.
But I've
for
also
your wife and
never
kids.
watched it again,
Yeah.
and I probably never will. I'm not gonna lie, throw the soundtrack on sometimes and skip most of the songs because they suck. But there's like a couple that are kind
No.
of good.
That's a banger album.
It's definitely a theater kid type of movie.
Yeah,
I'd
which
say.
is I am like a friend to theater kids. I am not one of you. Is the
So the-
thing.
The final
agree with that
introduction that I'll
identity.
give, because we could talk about our history together, Mike Flincham.
Oh, but wait, I want to finish the Frank thing. Shut up.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
So I was talking to John Ronson, and I was talking about like how the impact of Frank Sidebottom was minimal here, where I saw a clip of him on the television as a child. I just remembered the big head, the weird voice. And then for years and years, I would ask people, I was like, hey, you like weird comedy stuff. Do you know a guy who had like a big fake head and he did like a weird voice? And then people are like, the unknown comic, maybe? And they're like, no, not him. That was a bag. I mean, like, it's like he looked like a cartoon character, but he was a real guy. And then people are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I was like, God, I will someday find out who this is. And then when they made the movie and I saw the trailer and you see Fassbender in the big head, I was like, holy shit, that's the guy. And then And then I looked into it and I was like, oh,
Very
so it was a real,
MST3K.
it was
Yeah.
a real guy. I'm not crazy. And then I learned about Frank Sidebottom and found a bunch of like other clips and stuff of him online, a lot of the music, and got like really into it. And then the movie is like, I said, it's like a fictionalized account, but it's a beautiful movie about like, you know, the how dedicated you're willing to be to art and, you know, being weird and like the lengths you will go to pursue art versus like a normal life.
If you're a monkey.
If you were a monkey.
If you were a monkey.
But it is great. Fassbender is great in it. The big headline I remember seeing around the movie is people being like, in interviews, they'd be like, "Why would you do this movie, Michael Fassbender? You have a weird head on for 90% of it." It was not money. If you look at the budget of Frank, that cannot be the reason. But again, like Sidebottom had a bigger impact in Europe than in here. So it was like probably a story that Fassbender, I'm not saying he was like the world's biggest Frank Sidebottom
Was he a
fan, but, like,
producer? Well, I mean,
he
he might
probably
have been a
knew who
producer
he
on the movie.
was. He might have been, but like
He might have gotten that. Might have been one of those things.
it is
like,
also a
oh,
legitimately great script.
Will my name on this movie help?
When did that movie come out? When was that movie?
2014.
I was gonna say
Okay.
26.
I wonder if it was like, oh man, I'm gonna be like Jim Carrey. I'm gonna be Andy Kaufman. It's like Man on the Moon, you know, that kind of thing, where it's like I can just go deep into this character and play it off.
I'm not just Magneto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was
I'm just
that
not
too. It
Assassin's
was like I
Creed.
don't want to just be Magneto.
Yeah.
Like I have to counterbalance the big franchise movies with the weird movies where I have a paper mache head on.
That's
And
solid.
It's the whole cast is great. Not Donald Logue. Donald Gleason is the John Ronson stand-in. Maggie Gyllenhaal is in it. Scoot McNairy, I think.
Banger indie cast.
Yeah, it rules. The music in it is genuinely great. And one of the things Ronson was talking about was how they had all these like great outsider artists agree to do songs for the movie. Like Tom Waits was going to write a song. But then the director is like, actually, I changed my mind. I'm just going to let my friend do it. And I forget the friend's. John only said the guy's first name. I'm sure it's in the credits, but he's not like a known. The way he told it, I thought he was going to be like, oh, I'm going to let my friend, you know, do it. And
that friend's Elvis Costello.
And it's Jeff Tweedy or whoever. But it's like, no, it's just some guy. But the song at the end of the movie is genuinely like incredibly moving. It is how my friend Dan and I tell each other we love each other by like quoting that song a lot. And it rules. Watch Frank. If you get the opportunity to watch it at a farm in upstate New York with John Ronson there, you should do that. But I don't know if they're going to do that again anytime. So like, I just rent it, I guess. But also, Ricky, I sent you the trailer for this movie a couple times. Sunlight. It is a movie directed by ventriloquist Nina Conti, who I've had a weird art crush on for a while. She is in a weird monkey suit for the movie. Basically, she is a monkey puppet named Monkey, and it is essentially like that character brought to life. But it is similar to Frank. The movie is about like vague mental illness of like this character can't get out of the monkey suit. Like how is she going to interact with other people in the world? The other main character is also going through like a crisis, and it's like, well, how do these two people get along? I watched it last night. It rules. I was right. I saw the trailer and I sent it to you. I was like, I think this might be the greatest movie ever.
Except for that's not how our conversations have gone about this. It's like out of context serial killer. If you were going through our conversations, you mentioned something like the name, and I'm like, what? You're like, you know this, and it's just a picture, and it's nightmare fuel of this monkey costume. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and you're like, come on, and then you go, I guess, scroll through earlier text, and then you reply to the trailer. I'm like, oh, that's right. Why? Something that is so interesting and memorable. How do I keep on forgetting this? Yes,
it's great.
Yes,
I loved it. I highly recommend it. So watch Sunlight, Frank, and Buckaroo Banzai.
Mike.
3 in a row.
Do it.
Do it.
In a row.
Do it,
Watch them
listeners.
now.
I guess if I had to
We're
pick
gonna
an
watch you
order, it would be, I guess chronologically, go Banzai, Frank, Sunlight.
I've seen Buckaroo Banzai. I've seen that movie.
What do you
I think
remember of it?
I just remember. I remember. I really liked like
Mike
the
is also a
costumes,
lover of bad
and
movies.
yeah, I
Right, but we're
loved.
talking about Buckaroo Banzai, a great movie
I,
that is
I
good
loved
in
the
every ingredient.
zaniness of it.
I didn't say.
I liked how it could, it almost like I don't know how to say it. It didn't feel like there were very many rules in the movie. Like it seemed like it knew what it was, and it was almost like comicish, comic bookish.
Mhm.
Like, and I'm trying to remember who the main guy is.
Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah, no, I'm trying
Peter
to act.
Oh yeah,
Weller?
Peter Weller is the actor.
Yeah,
And
Peter,
John Lithgow is the main villain.
He's the
John
he's the
Lithgow. Yeah,
Lord
I
John
mean, it's been a
Lothringen.
long time, but
Really
I'd
reining
have
it
to watch
in.
it.
Yeah, it's
But
genuinely, I think, one of Lithgow's greatest performances, and I don't want to say worst, but probably one of Peter Weller's least interesting.
Peter Weller,
I think
honestly,
I
is
think
a
it's the
pretty
best sides of science fiction. I think it's the best way to talk about like do a science fiction movie probably is just to make it kind of fantastical like that. I
who's
think.
your recast, Glenn, of Peter Weller? Because I agree that that's why he's great as
He's
RoboCop,
talked about
because
it
he's
in
robotic.
interviews. Yeah, he's talked about it in interviews since it came out.
Yeah.
And then did another round. He just had a like an art textbook get published.
Yes.
And he's been doing interviews for that. I never got a reply from his people about coming on Daddio, but
Did you reach out?
yeah,
that's
I
awesome.
sure tried. And part of it is like he talks about, he's like, I didn't understand what the movie was about, and it's like, yeah, dog, we can tell. And I think genuinely that is
But it's
part of
interesting you
what I
say
love
that
about
is-
the movie so much.
Right, but yes, because it can work to character traits. But what's interesting is, why is Peter Weller then the actor? Is it just because, I mean, he hadn't done RoboCop yet when he did Buckaroo Banzai, correct?
No, it's I've heard it credited a couple times where like this was the movie that got him RoboCop, basically.
So he's
Because
really
when they're
well,
casting RoboCop, they're like, we just need a chin, like that's
he's really
what we
well
need.
suited, and also that delivery, the cadence. Like,
He's very good in
gets it.
RoboCop
He's very
as
robotic. But then
as
why is
RoboCop and then pre-murdered guy.
so what I was gonna say is, why is then, for the same reason, is he chosen for Naked Lunch, which I've also heard him say, I didn't get it. And it's just like, hey buddy, at some point
I think he gets Naked Lunch more than he gets Buckaroo.
I've heard, like, I've seen him just be like, woo.
I mean, Naked Lunch is a weird movie.
Yeah, I don't think anybody gets Naked Lunch.
Yeah.
Well, it's also Cronenberg distills it down to
But I think he had a
semi
take
understandable
going into that
science
character
fiction.
that he did not have with Buckaroo. Where like
Really interesting.
Humphrey
You're
Bogart,
not even going off of like, yeah, I was gonna say like a film noir or like an Indiana, like some kind of serial character.
I think it's Humphrey Bogart had a quote about acting of like, look, if sometimes you don't know how to say the line, just say the words out loud, just do it. It doesn't matter. And there's lines in Buckaroo Banzai where it's like, oh, that's what Peter Weller's doing. He's like, he doesn't know how to say, if it was a snake, it'd have bit me. He just knows he has to, so he says it.
But the same thing is said if like Star Wars. So like we're Carrie Fisher notoriously and Alec Guinness, and everyone's just like, what the fuck is this dialogue?
Like, this is
George?
gobbledygook.
Like, this is gobbledygook. But they somehow sell it,
because they're
even
good
though
at
we
what they
know. Again, so what I'm saying is maybe Peter Weller isn't as good at what he does. It is more of like a Yul Brynner category. He has a look.
He does have a look, but I think.
Sorry, welcome back to the Weller cast.
Yeah. I think it comes across, and it's one of the things that I wanted to talk to Rick. WD Richter told me I can call him Rick because we're friends now. That's not a big deal at all.
Can't call me Rick. I don't know
I
why
handled
comedy
it-
shows keep on promoting me as Rick Glore. I'm like, nothing I have given you has ever said that stuff.
I handled it in a very cool, chill way when he said that.
Have you tested to make sure he actually gave you his real number and not?
Yeah,
just some
no,
burner?
I've been emailing with this dude for weeks now, to the point where it's like, when you
New
get your
phone, who
first
dis?
email from the director of your favorite movie about like scheduling lunch, you're like, oh, this is incredible. When you get your 50th, you're like, all right, Rick, it's just, we already know when it's fine, bud. But was genuinely what was crazy was as I'm walking up to the restaurant when we're having lunch, it's like I've only seen pictures of him from the set of Buckaroo Banzai. I truly don't know what this cat looks like, and I
I only
knew
know you from 40 years ago. You
I
are
knew
like
some
a
of
teen.
the other
You are like a
people.
teen girl, like
Rick,
heartthrob.
Rick.
Well, no, I knew some of the other people I was meeting. I knew what they looked like, so I'm like, all right, I'll
Thank
look out
God.
for Steve. I've seen recent pictures of Steve. So they were there first, and I'm talking to Steve and Dan. Shout out to Steve and Dan, and then Rick and his wife walk up, and
Oh, and his wife. Lose that broad. She's not needed, Rick.
no, she's great. How dare you? But they walk up and then like see us, and he goes, "Oh, hi, Glenn," and I was like, what do you mean? How do you know who I am? And he's like, no, like we watch. He's seen my comedy. He knows my work, which is crazy. Also, I got to talk to his wife Susan about the red glasses. Like I think I've talked about it before, but these are because Buckaroo wears red glasses in the movie. Those were a choice by her. So I was like, oh, thank you so much because I like these a lot and I get a lot of compliments on them. Which she saw like at the restaurant. People were like, "Oh, I really like your glasses." Then we went to a bar later, and then a young server there was like, "Oh, hey, your glasses are really great." And I was like, "Thank you, pretty young lady." And then the other like middle-aged dudes I was with are like, "Oh, that's great. Like, do like young women regularly approach you about your glasses?" It's like happens more than you think. They're like, "We should get red glasses." I mean, you can, but I don't know.
That's my thing.
Like in front of people, I got a number of compliments on these, but with Rick and Susan there. We were walking to the screening with them, and then some guy had a Buckaroo Banzai t-shirt on because he's obviously going to the screening. And then he's coming the other way, and we're like, Rick, you want to blow this guy's mind real quick? And we saw his t-shirt. We're like, hey, you're going to the screening? He's like, yeah, I love that movie. It's my favorite. And we're like, meet W.D. Richter. And he's like, really? And it was great. But when he came up and recognized me, I was like, oh, I don't know. It's weird that anyone
And I jizzed
knows
in my pants.
yeah, it's weird. Like if I roll up to a town I've never been to and people are there to see me specifically and they know who I am, I was like, that still takes some getting
We've
used
talked
to.
about this. You and I each question a little bit why.
Yeah. But when it's the guy who made your favorite movie and it's like
Same thing. I'm just like,
so I got him to sign my Laserdisc. Which I brought. It was in the car. I didn't bring it to lunch because like the Laserdisc is big and it's like I don't want to like roll up with this. I'm gonna we'll have lunch. I'll
where
feel
do
out.
I put this?
Yeah,
after?
I will feel out if there's a good moment to be like, hey, I know this is kind of shitty, but like, could you sign this? But then some of the other guys who were there had stuff and they asked them, but then like none of their markers would write on the steelbook that one of them had. And I was like, oh, I have markers in my car. Like I have one specifically to like write on different kinds of stuff if people ask me to sign CDs or whatever. So I ran to the car and then grabbed it and I was like, hey, I wasn't going to ask, but like, could you sign this? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to. And then I also gave him, I signed a copy of World Crime League for him, my CD, not the book. But yeah, it was great. So now I have the signed Laserdisc over my chair in the den.
That's awesome.
And he has a signed copy of my dumb CD. He thought it was very funny that the CD itself was a watermelon. I talked to his wife about chickens because they have chickens, and so does my wife. It was great. I had a wonderful time, but again, it was so much meeting and interacting with people and trying to come across as like normal and cool and likable that like I could barely function Sunday and Monday and not that much yesterday either. Where Sunday it's like, oh, we don't have anything going on. I'm just gonna hang out quietly at the house. But then my wife invited people over to play D&D, and like I also had to socialize with them. And then Monday it's like, oh God. And it's summer, so my kids are home. So I can't just be like, oh, hey, leave daddy alone so he can sit quietly in a dark room for a few hours. It's like, no, I have to like feed and make sure you're being, properly
You're like,
entertained.
I can talk at an entire audience and
Yeah.
work off their energy and stuff. I don't like that I have to interact.
Oh, that's an
if
hour,
you're-
baby. That's
a
nothing.
difference.
That's talk
Yeah.
at people for an hour, no problem. Make small talk with a few of them after the show. That's a bigger ask.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish up my the Flinchum to get into comedy because, like I said before,
Yeah, blame it on Flinchum.
we could talk about forever
Buckaroo Banzai?
different
Yeah, of
things
course
that
we
we've
can.
done. Well, I mean, not just that. I mean, that will forever. It's kind of one of these things. Buckaroo Banzai and Mike Flinchum will be forever mentioned on Daddio because comedy being one of the things is you mentioned to me when I wasn't getting on the college improv team, and I think around the same time we filmed a 10-minute zombie movie called Dead Woods that you were originally going to be in,
Redwoods.
and then backed out, and then I ended up playing the part of Frank was going to be you. Infamously, it's the first thing Nick Hyance and I of NKY Films made and edited with our friends Eric Hunter, Nick Prince, Danny Johns, Tracy Henniger.
Still fun to watch.
Flinchum was supposed to be in it. It's a 10-minute short based off of like a George Romero, Our Best Attempt. And then the DVD, I think, has over an hour and a half of special features, 3 commentaries.
It really does.
It's highly influenced by Kevin Smith or Robert Rodriguez, like special features of the day. But so Flinchum was just like, hey, man, I just found out that comedy club at Newport on the Levee is offering stand-up comedy classes taught by a guy, Jeff Jenna, who actually, is a working
Funny
comedian.
Bone.
Yeah. And you were like, I think I'm going to sign up and do it. It's like $300, but the first class is free. And then after that, you got to pay. And then you get to perform at the club. And it was in the song that you didn't hear all of, Mike, is you were like, I'm going to sign up. You're like, I got this. What I remember is you're like, I have this beatboxing joke idea or something to do with beatbox, like self beatboxing, like bit that you were going to do. That's all I remember. And then I was like, all right. And then I went and signed up and went to the first class and you weren't there. And then like, again, maybe we had cell phones. Maybe I texted you or maybe I called you or next time I saw you, I'm like, hey man, where were you? And you're just like, I don't want to pay $300. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so that is how I took the class. And then that is what got me into doing stand-up. And then eventually a job serving at the Funny Bone. You were to blame.
It's all your fault, Mike. How dare you?
There used to be some really great, like, comedy opportunities in the area. And then also they had a theater, it was called Shadowbox Theater, which was just like a sketch comedy troupe. And they had a great band. And I like the first time I went to see Shadowbox, I was like, man, that would be awesome to audition and just try and do something like that, because I think like an improv troupe is something I would love to have love to have done, because I felt like when I try to be funny, it's always a bounce off of something else. Like, I don't think I could do straight up stand up. I don't think I could do well.
But and I think
you put me in a situation, where I can bounce back and forth with somebody, I feel like I do a lot better with that.
That is a thing. Talking to people usually after shows where they're like, oh, like my one friend at work is like so hilarious. I keep telling them they should try stand up. And it's like, I don't want to tell them no.
Don't do that. That's
but
the worst advice you could give anybody ever.
It is like, oh, I mean, I'm not saying they're not funny. It is just like, they're funny with you. You know them. You guys have shared points of reference. You guys do the same job. Like the not talent, like the job part of doing stand-up comedy is like, can you make what you want to talk about relatable to a group of people?
Right.
And
by yourself with no help.
If you're watching,
but the audience is there, man.
I mean, if you're watching this and you've seen my work and you're like, well, Glenn, you talk about Mr. T and Buckaroo Banzai, so what do you mean relate to the audience? It's like, right, but that's why I can get the Mr. T stuff to work. I've not been able to get Buckaroo Banzai stuff to work because, like, people remember Mr. T was a guy, but most people haven't seen or know enough about Buckaroo Banzai that I can make like a red Lectroid joke, you know? but you can bring up Mr. T and then be like, I kind of remember who that is. But then you have to do it in a way that they will still understand what you want to talk about.
Sure.
So that you recognize, you're like, no, like I'm good in a group, you know, I can think of a funny idea, but like doing it where I'm just the only one talking isn't the skill that I have.
Well, look, man,
I
if you
don't.
want
I
to
don't
put
think I
together,
can be
self-aware.
consistent.
Mike, if you start
Yes.
start thinking, then if like, because now that you're going to be an empty nester here in a little bit, that's when you said you might put your feet to the fire of going out and doing some dates. If you start
Yeah.
thinking of a 2-person thing, I'm more than happy to throw that up and do something with you, because I also like playing and working with others, like what Glenn and I have been doing with the Daddio shows. We've been opening them up by the two of us going up on stage and just like introducing the night, but with real like, I don't think we've ever said this is what we're going to talk about.
No.
We just kind of go up and wing it. It's almost
The
like
times we've done it, it's been like,
podcast.
oh, we should. I feel like it makes sense to me that there's a bit of a double act at the top of the show, but we've yet to kind of lock in exactly what that should be. And it ends up being essentially, you know, a couple minutes of this show of just like, oh, hey, you know, welcome. And then we interrupt each other or like make a joke about something dumb the other one said.
It's funny, Mike. I sell the dynamic. So Mike and I, we did a movie review podcast, which is primarily horror movies. We got some notoriety for how long we did it, how many episodes, and some pretty cool guests, some firsts.
Yeah, we got some great guests.
And in that dynamic, Mike would play the dumb one between us to like play it up. When it's
Totally
Glenn and I,
played it. It was not me at all.
when Glenn and I do the stage, the thing I've said it's akin to is like Smothers Brothers, and I think I'm playing the dumber one of the two. So that is the dynamic that like when we go on stage, if I can lean into something that sells you as a smug genie, or like to get that patter going, like that's what I've liked doing. So Mike, if you come up with like an idea of a 2-person live thing, I would love to go do something like that with you, because I love the way your mind works. I've seen you do stand up 3 times, I think. And I love your joke writing. And I think you protect yourself by deciding to do a little bit of a character version of yourself.
Sure. Well, I mean, to me, the idea of trying to go out there and consistently do something like that, I just don't. I know I'm not built for something like the way that you guys drive all these places, and you refine things and you really put stuff into it. I know that I would never do that. I just wouldn't do it. But like to me, I did like the thrill of going, okay, well, like let's see if this works, and then you know. And getting laughs is intoxicating in a way. Like you feed your ego a little bit. But I know that I would never be able to do something that like what you guys do consistently, like constantly trying to work material or change it or the crowd work thing. I don't think that I could do anything like that. But I know that you guys do it well. I've watched. Ricky, I watched your new special that just came out, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
One of my 2 new specials.
Well, the one that just came out like
from
2
Chicago.
weeks ago.
Well, yeah, band from Chicago and then Blessed. Band from Chicago was the thing that wasn't supposed to be, but both involve a heavy amount of crowd work, which again, like you though,
Sure.
I do like. Glenn is really good at being what I consider is more of like a genuine stand-up, where I'm just like, you know what? I also like the spontaneity of talking to people or whatever, or just that different approach.
I mean, it's only because I don't like talking to people.
Like that's what we've said. It's like then it's
there's
way
a
more
lot
taxing.
of like, because crowd work clips kind of blew up online, and now there's like a pushback to that, where like comics will be like, oh, I hate crowd works, like that's not real comedy. It's like, I think it's fine. I don't have an issue with comics doing crowd work. I just don't like to do it because I'm so wholly uninterested in the answers I would get from people. Where it's like, oh, what do you do for work? Oh, could not care less, man. Like, what do you?
I'm a
an
butcher.
accountant? Yeah, whatever. Ew, don't do. I like, or
Of
like,
what?
oh, you guys dating? I don't care. I don't care if you're dating. Are you? you guys like the movie Buckaroo Banzai? Like, that's the crowd work I would do of just like, do you guys want to talk about something I want to talk about anyway? How do you feel about Jurassic Park? What's your favorite dinosaur?
Well, that's an easier sell. A franchise that's been around for so long. That's like bringing up Star Wars.
Yeah.
I feel
No,
like.
I'm just using examples of like things that I want to talk to people about. I do like,
and I think you can. I think that's why what you were saying before, like your Mr. T and your Jurassic Park stuff tends to work a little bit better is because there's a little bit more of a short.
There's at least slight recognition there. But like when I do trivia, like I try to get there not super early because I don't want to have to make small talk with people at the bar. And then there's like a period of time after I'm done hosting trivia to when like the bar dies down enough that the servers remember that they have to pay me so I could go home. And it's like, I will talk to people. It's not like I hide in a corner. I was like, don't talk to me, you plebes. It's just like, I don't know. I get uncomfortable when I have to talk to a lot of people at once. And the part where I have to like hang out afterwards for a bit and do small talk with people is the hard part of that job. Whereas like, being the one talking into a microphone, asking people a bunch of questions, reminding them to, tip the servers well, like that, I'd have no problem doing that. It is like when I'm one-on-one with like two of them and they're like, oh, hey, so like you also do comedy, right? It's like, yes, that is my job. And then I'm like, oh, I should ask them.
So
about
how do
their
you write
job.
your jokes?
Yeah. Rick asked me that at lunch and I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know. How do you write your movies?
How did you write Big Trouble in Little
He's like,
China?
why are you getting so defensive? You're like, I don't know.
I'm not. It was like, I will answer it. It's just like crazy that I'm being asked this by you. And it's like,
he's also nervous and doesn't know what to ask because he also doesn't necessarily like.
Yeah, he knows. So the other people who work on the fanzine have all like met and interacted with him and Earl MacRouch a few times, and like for me, first time. So they're like, he knows some of them, but it's like he is also having lunch with. I think it ended up being 4 of us who showed up for lunch. It was 3 because the one guy never got there too late. But he is having lunch with like 3 people who have admitted to having like an obsessive fascination with a thing that he made 40 years ago, which like has to be kind of weird. So I made a movie in college. It is called Several Ways to Die Trying. And twice now in the past 6 months, random people have found it at like a thrift store or whatever and reached out to be like, hey man, I just found this movie that you made. Are you the same guy? Because I see you do comedy, but like it doesn't mention this movie. And it's like, it's crazy that you found it. It's weird that you like it and that you found the need to track me down online to be like,
wait, do you have a digital copy of that?
Somewhere. Yeah. It was on. So
I'd like to see it.
I don't think it is available anymore, but it was on Amazon Prime Video for a while. Okay. Netflix had it as a DVD through the mail, but never digitized it because it wasn't HD. So we shot it in 2006. So like HD cameras existed, but my college didn't have one. So we shot it.
Do you own the rights to it?
Yeah. Or
so just put it on YouTube.
I can, but
at least on the Internet Archive. So it doesn't get lost.
The thing is, I'm not positive because we did sell it to a distributor at one point, but
I'm sure that wasn't permanent
anymore.
Distributor rights. Yeah, I'd say if you threw it up on the YouTube, you'd be fine.
It is also one of those things where it's like, I cannot imagine they give a shit. But it is also like, I'm so proud of the script that I wrote and am marginally proud of the movie that we made, where it's like, we made it for so little money on such old equipment that watching it now is just like, if I shot this on my phone today, it would look 1,000 times better. And it's like, I understand George Lucas's impulse to like fight releasing the original versions, but he's wrong. And so am I, but it's like, I don't know. It's just, all I see is the flaws. But I forget your name, new friend. He's another filmmaker in Jersey who like reached out and he's like, he was the thrift store guy. He's like, I found this in a thrift store and I just want you to know, great job. It was neat seeing like parts of Jersey in this movie. So he had like specific things he wanted to talk about. And I was like, this is great. And he sent me his site with like some of his shorts and stuff on it that I have not watched yet, but like I absolutely.
But here's the thing, like I get it. Like, so with the WD Richter thing, like knowing that he's seen something of yours, you're like, I respect and admire you, and I love this thing you made. And now knowing that you watched something of mine and that you liked it or just watched it and can cite something from it, amazing. Whenever somebody like ever like sends me something, they're like, yeah, and here's some stuff I've
Oh no,
done
I
too.
asked him. Just to
Oh,
be
okay,
clear.
good.
I
I'm
was like-
always just like, oh, I don't.
Because he
wanna
mentioned, he's like, oh, I'm also a filmmaker in Jersey. And I was like, oh, is there anywhere I can see your stuff?
Yes,
like
okay,
it wasn't unprompted.
Okay.
Because then again, I would have like, it's comics will do this.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, hey, I saw your dry bar. It's like, oh, thanks for reaching out. And then be like, oh, here's like, could you give me some feedback on that? And like, I don't want to.
I did it
the
recently.
compliment shouldn't come with a chore. You know what I mean?
But this guy, because we went back and forth a little bit.
Did you hear that? People that put little platitudes or things on like fancy hand towels. A compliment shouldn't come with a chore.
It shouldn't.
I
know. Like again, I think you should at least put it up on the Internet Archive. That way, you know, because I'm a fan of like when people find lost media, like just what goes into finding something that may be trivial or you know unimportant, but to that person, they're like, I need to find this because I need to prove, one, it exists, and two, is my memory reliable? You know.
Well, and, I mean, like I said, it played in festivals. And like won some awards. So like objectively, I'm like, I know in my heart it's not terrible. Like, or it would, or those things wouldn't be true, right? It wouldn't have been accepted into festivals, and I wouldn't have won things because of it. But I still see it as like it could be so much better. It's like part of the reason why after I started doing stand up, it's like which I started doing to get writing jobs, to keep working in film. But it's like, oh, I actually kind of like this better. But it is also easier. Like stand up is about iteration in a way that filmmaking is not, where it's like, sure, you can always take another pass at the script, but at a certain point you just have to lock it and start production. But with stand up, it's like
to give the next stage the thing to manipulate.
Yeah. But like with stand up, it's like, no, I can bring back a joke from the first album. And if I like have a different take on it, I don't see any reason why I can't do that. But it's like, I'm not going to George Lucas it, right? I'm not going to keep trying to remake. We lost Flincham. I'm not going to keep trying to remake Several Ways That I Try, even though I know in my heart, if I did it now, welcome back. If I did it now as, you know, someone with not much more.
Well, you know, the theory is that you keep on.
I keep on what? Keep it on.
The theory is that you keep on. Sorry, that you keep on making the same movie. So
yeah, I mean, I've heard that
whatever
too.
Your follow up would be.
There's another project,
or whoever.
Yeah, there's another project that I have that as I'm working on it, I will like see. Because Several Ways That I Try, the short pitch is there's a high school kid who's depressed. He wants to be a writer, but it's not going well because he's 17 and doesn't know anything. Like that's the ultimate message of the. It's like, but it came from like a joke idea of like, oh, if you were suicidal but you had writer's block on the note, that would be pretty funny. Like that's like the joke,
and that's the reason why you're killing yourself too, is because you want to be a writer and you can't be like.
And there is another movie that uses this premise that came out a couple years, like maybe a decade after mine, where it's not like there's no way this woman saw my movie and like stole this idea. It is such like that idea is easy to arrive at, you know. It's like I have a joke about, we talked about it, I think last week, of like, oh, you know, my wife and I adopted a dog. We've been trying to have one naturally. There's a ton of versions of that joke because that it's pretty formulaic, right? Like it's easy to arrive at that punchline. Whereas like, oh, like if you had writer's block on a suicide note, like there's something there where like the ultimate story that the other movie came up with and that I came up with are very different, but like the jumping off point a little similar. And with mine, it's like, oh, this kid wants to be a writer, but like he's just this depressed idiot teenager. And like looking at it now, it's like, oh yeah, like you're just a dumb kid who doesn't know anything. Where it's like you think, oh, you have all these great thoughts and problems. It's like you're an idiot, kid. Like that's why you're
But
dumb.
that's also why it's not the same movie, is because you are not the same Glenn. You made the movie that Glenn at that time earnestly
and
made for this
the book he
character
writes
to be this way.
The book he writes that he thinks is such a good idea in the movie is it's a choose your own adventure book where no matter what you do, you die at the end. And there's even that exists now. Like somebody wrote a choose your own adventure book where all the outcomes are a horrible death. And it's like somebody, I know that because somebody sent it to me and like, oh, they stole your idea. I was like, no, they didn't. Like they came to that idea independently. They also actually did the thing. Like me thinking, oh, it would be funny. It's why when somebody tells you they want to be a screenwriter, but they're more of an ideas guy, like don't waste your time talking to that person.
No.
You find it a lot in music too, where they're like, oh, you stole my riff, you stole this or that. And it's like, hey, there's only, and I think it was BB King that said it, like there's only so many notes on a guitar. Okay. Like you we're not all, totally original.
A lot of it's going to sound similar. And
I think BB King said it was I don't know you, get away from me.
Yeah, please.
That's what he said to me.
Mr. Flincham, you need to stop showing up. You're so young and I'm so old.
I think it was George H.W. Bush, 90s Bush, that said, "Is that my sandwich?"
I mean, the other BB King quote that I do love is they pay me to travel, I do the shows for free. I don't get the sandwich thing, so I'm just going to move on.
No, it's
well, hey, can I get back to
no. Shut up. Shut
you guys were talking about.
No, you're guessing our show. We talk.
How dare you?
Know
your place, Flinch.
You had, and I think I know Glenn's answer, but so when you guys get up on stage, when you have your material and you do your set, do you feel that you're playing a character of yourself, or are you just you? Or does that question make sense?
I don't. You said you think you know my answer. I don't know what answer you think I know. I say
I think that you're not. Yeah, that's what I would say.
I say me
what
no.
You've been
Ricky,
talking
yes.
about. That's how I was going to say it, but I'd like to know Ricky's. But I know because of just from the way you were already saying, like I don't even care enough to do the crowd work, small talk. I want to talk about the stuff that I like. Well, obviously, if you were playing a character of yourself, you would be able to suspend that disbelief and be like, "Oh, this guy cares about this stuff."
Right.
Where you just can't be bothered.
You're always presenting
levels
a little
of
bit
that in Glenn's show, which
there's
is
always
great,
a little bit of a character.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, even if I'm doing a show, but I'm in a bad mood, I will fake it. Right. I will just do the material. I will act like I'm having a great time. But
you're still selling an image of yourself either way.
Yeah, but I'm still doing material that is as close to the actual version of myself as I can get, which is intentional. And it's,
you still got a show to do.
Yeah, which it's the I've talked about it before, but I've always heard Pete Holmes say it because I think he's quoting Jerry Seinfeld, but he's like paraphrasing the idea of like, yeah, anybody can be funny with their friends. Can you be funny at 8:00 on a Tuesday? Like,
yeah,
it's showtime. Like, it is time to be funny. And it's like, whether you like it or not, like you might be very tired from driving to Ohio all day, or, maybe you have a headache or like whatever, but it's like, unless I'm going to riff bits about having a headache, I'm just going to try my best. And doing virtual shows during the pandemic where it's like so many people were muted or there's not a lot of people on the call, I pretty quickly realized it's like, oh, I have to act like this is going great. Like, I can't keep pointing out that I can't hear anybody laughing.
There's
like, I have to
there's
just
nothing gained from that.
Yeah, like that won't make the show better. What will make the show better is I will just power through as if we're all having a good time, and I will convince them that they are by the end of it. And then out of the pandemic, I would still do that, which is a bit of a benefit, but there's like a downside to it of like, I'm ignoring the reality of the situation in a way that I don't think is helpful sometimes, where it's like, yeah, if there's a weird thing in your in-person show, like address it, like,
we did shows at the Emmaus, and there's a train that drives by the theater every once in a while, and like you absolutely hear it. And it's like if I did that,
if you talk about
show-
autism and there's a train that audibly is going
Yeah.
by that everyone in the audience can hear,
yeah, it's
you
like I
better
have
address
to
it.
I have to address this.
Yeah.
But if I did that show in 2022, I would have ignored the train and just kept trying to
Yes.
talk over it. Whereas now it's like, no, I'm going to talk about the choo-choo train. But
Also
I mean,
because we were needling that thread the whole time because you were just like, there's a train that comes by here. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, you know how I know? And you're like, because you heard it? And I was like, no, because you just told me.
Yeah.
And you're real excited about that train going.
well, because the last show that I did there, I think I talked about it at that show, was I was
Mhm.
judging a roast battle.
Yeah.
And you saw that green room's not big, you
Yeah,
know.
cool
It-
green room though.
It was great because there's like a little tiny
Yeah,
area and
little
there's like an
loft.
upstairs right behind the
Yeah.
screen where that's where like the snacks and stuff are. So there's like seats. If it was 4 or 5 of us, it would have been great. But at the roast battle, there's like 20. But there's so
Oh,
many
yeah.
comics and there's not enough room. And it's too crowded and loud for me to be in that room. So I would just like stand outside to like some comics would go out to smoke. And it's like, I'm going to go out with you guys. And like, do you smoke? It's like, no, I just go outside when it's crowded. But at one point I was like trying to talk to the other comics in the green room and I heard the train go by and then I stopped mid-sentence to walk outside and watch the train go by. And it's like, yeah, it's autism, but again, like so much of my material from like Good Grief is very personal. The current hour, Glenn Tickle tries to be a person at the Rochester Fringe Festival, September 18th through 20th. Tickets available now. Is like on purpose. It is like very personal. So it is hard to like present that as a character. I'm not going to be like, what if I was like a guy who was sad that his brother died? It's like, no, I am a guy who's sad that his brother died. I think it's weird that I have so many jokes about it. So let me talk about, I will do those jokes, but I'm also going to talk about why I feel weird about
Thematically,
jokes.
it makes sense to make this a narrative and to make this a show.
Yeah. And it's like, I have to absolutely just be myself. And then with Tries to Be a Person, it is like part of it was, it's been a while since I recorded World Crime League. I would like to record something else. I have roughly an hour of material, but then from that decision to now, like that hour has changed quite a bit because of the list that we started talking about at the beginning of the year of like, how can I get better at doing comedy? Like I don't do crowd work. I don't even really look the audience in the eyes. I don't talk about things that people like. Like here's all things that I can do that I think will make me a more appealing ticket for most people. And then the list kind of overlapped
Well,
with like
that's the
autism
prestige.
symptoms.
That's the prestige of the show and the charm
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, a lot of these are symptoms of autism. And
Yeah.
then I go through the assessment process and they tell me I'm not, even though I absolutely am. And now I'm like fighting with them about the video that they won't release. And like, there's so much more.
Oh, Mike, what do you think about that? What do you think about that red tape of them not handing over the video?
I think you have a airtight case there because of well, I mean, it's your records. I don't understand how they can't give you the video. Like
it's maddening. And talking to people about it, where I mentioned HIPAA, and then a number of people have been like, "Oh, well, HIPAA just means that they can't share it without your consent." I was like,
they
read
can't share
HIPAA.
It. Not
it's
you
not,
can't share it.
That is not the whole of the. That's the main function of HIPAA. Yes, there's a whole section that gives you, the patient, access to your medical records. Mm-hmm. That is the part that I'm talking.
Full access.
Like, oh, I didn't know. It's like, right, because you're not autistically angry about something where you're reading a whole ass law so that you can try to win an argument.
Yeah. And I mean, that's largely, I think it's largely related because of like power of attorney and stuff. Like if you didn't have that safety in place, when somebody has, power of attorney over you, they can just say, well, you can't have these records.
Yeah.
When then now you have to, well, HIPAA, these records are entitled. I'm entitled to them. They're rightfully mine.
Yeah. And the argument that they're like, well, it's proprietary. And it's like, I don't care. I mean, you could make the case that because it's proprietary, I can't publish that video on my YouTube channel as much as I would like to.
Yeah, that could be part of the agreement. You have rights to this, to have this.
That could be a separate discussion. But the fact that you can't send it to me is absurd.
It should be just as limiting as any other copyright law. I would love it
if I'm not gonna lie. I would love to just put the whole thing on my YouTube channel.
Oh,
'Cause
it's
to
own
me,
special. Yeah.
very
This is
funny.
and release, give it a little title and call it Glenn Tickle Presents, like
Yeah.
whatever
Are you
the
ki-
test.
Oh God. Should I schedule? I'm gonna schedule
Assessment.
another one.
And keep your camera on.
I'm gonna secretly film it, but I'm gonna do bits during the
That's
assessment.
amazing.
I'm gonna work material into the assessment.
Can I direct it?
I don't think. I think no. I don't think you can be in the room.
No. I'm saying, can we pre-work
Like
it like a
edit it.
Nathan
Ooh.
Fielder? Like,
Maybe.
I would love to be.
might be the
Sorry.
move.
Here's what I'm saying. The only reason I'm asking if I can direct it is because I want to be associated with this idea because I think it's phenomenal. I love. The
I think I
gimmick
mentioned
nature
it
of
to. I can't say it on the podcast, but I'll tell you
Okay.
after Flinchum. Can I call
Flinch.
you Flinch?
Flinch Daddy.
I just did by
It's fine.
mistake a little bit.
Has anybody ever called you Flinch?
Flinch
I've never heard
lives.
that
Yes.
either. Oh, really?
Yes.
Get Flinch.
Mhm.
Get Flinch. Flinch lives.
But I have an idea stuck in my head, and so far, Ricky, you and my wife are the only two people that I've shared this idea with, where it's like
Don't do it. Oh, wait.
this. No, I think you were on board. It's like, God, this is kind of a long shot, but to me, it would be so funny if this happened.
Yes.
And it is
I
a
know
thing
exactly
that,
what you're talking
like,
about.
I think I can pull it off.
Yes.
But
Oh, it's
the-
also nothing, without mentioning it, there's nothing lost at not asking. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing like.
Well, you and I have very different opinions on.
Yes.
Oh, well, it doesn't hurt to
Flinchum
ask.
knows that. Flinchum
I think
knows
it
that
hurts.
with me. Like, you've seen numerous times where I'm just like, we could just ask.
Well, that was the Chuck Tingle thing. Where like we
Yeah.
talked
Mhm.
about him on the episode, and you're like, "Hey, he's coming on the show." I was like, "You magnificent son of a bitch! Like, how did you
Yeah.
pull that off?" And you're like, "I sent a
But,
couple
I mean,
emails. It's crazy."
I have
to
to
me.
agree. I've had more. I think with all the things that we've done,
Oh, that's right. We have
I
all
think
three
we've
work
had-
together. We can.
we've
punt
had
it. All three of
more
us did work together.
successes. I think we had more successes than rejections on asking because we got Lisa Loeb on Weekend Pump
Yeah.
Day. That was just me emailing her, saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, I love your music. I've loved it since the '90s. We do this show.
You
with
asked me,
puppets."
you're like, do you think I should just
Would
cold
you-
email her? And I was like, yeah.
Crazy.
and boom, that we got her on the show.
But to me, when you're like, "Oh, there's no harm in emailing," it's like, well, the harm would be if I email Lisa Loeb to be like, "Hey, do you want to come on my puppet news show?" And she's like, "No, you weird idiot creep. I didn't know who you were before, but now I actively hate you." And it's like, "Oh no, Lisa Loeb hates me." Like that's the fear for
built
me.
If she
differently,
knows your
sir.
name.
Oh, Lisa Loeb, say my name.
But yeah, like
You
with
say.
And then
With-
we've had all the directors that we've had on, and character or
yeah.
actors and stuff.
It's been
I mean,
crazy.
people you never think.
We had Victor Miller, the writer of Friday the 13th, watch the only other Friday the 13th movie that he's ever seen was because of us, and then he came on the
Well,
podcast to talk about it.
there's
Weird little things like that.
it's if
tickle
it's someone I care about, then it feels like
Yeah.
a big ask where it's like, I don't know if you're like, Glenn, can you email Nathan Fillion's people to see if he'll come on to talk about being Guy Gardner? And I was like, yeah, I have nothing against you, Nathan Fillion, but
Well, that's
I
a
don't
weird
care.
pick,
I also
knowing
don't
how
care
I feel
about
about. Yeah.
it. And it's like, yeah, I don't care if Nathan Fillion's people think I'm annoying, but if you're like, hey, can you get I'm trying to think of a good example of somebody that I haven't actually met and already talked to. I was gonna be like, oh, could you get Kevin Smith to come on? And be like, probably not. I don't think he would, but like
No.
I've met
have
and
asked.
interacted him
I have that
with him a
contact,
number of times.
and I have asked for different things, and there's been
mean,
very
is-
nice replies of just like, he just doesn't have time right now. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Ricky, didn't you open up for Doug Stanhope once just because you asked?
No, that
Was it Doug
was
Stanhope?
it's Super High Me. Doug loves movies.
different
Benson.
Doug.
Doug Benson.
And
That's
that was
right.
literally Twitter. It was Twitter. It was I had been listening to Doug Loves Movies, and I had worked with him way back in the day of Funny Bone days, and so I saw he was coming to Comedy Off Broadway in Lexington, and I was just like, he had replied to something. He had retweeted something that I had done on Twitter, maybe on Explain a Movie Plot Badly or something, where there was an interaction, and I was just like, hey, when you're in town, I'd love to do a set on your show. And he was like, yep, come on by. And so did shows that weekend. I've talked about that on this podcast. That's where then he, from the back of the room, yelled during my whole entire set. Every time I said, my wife, blah, 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 he'd go, my wife.
Yeah.
Took
Sounds
me
like
a
real
little
cool,
bit.
normal dude. But
Took
there's,
me a
I mean,
little
like
bit
other
to realize that was
comics.
him.
I'm still trying to think of a good example of someone like I don't want to
John
ask.
Hodgman.
I would ask Hodgman to do it. I haven't, and I feel like it would have to be.
It takes
if
time.
he's
it
like
makes sense. Ooh,
doing
Francis.
press about a thing, you know, like if he's looking to plug, if he's
Hey,
actively
if you're
like
ever
doing
looking to plug
press,
something and you need an outlet,
and it's like, oh
we have
hey,
the
you're
show.
doing. If they do like Dicktown season 2, and he's like, yeah, I just want places where I can come talk about it. I'd be like, oh come on, but like. Not that we're a huge platform or we're doing him a favor or anything, but it's like, yeah, like you have a thing you want to plug. We have a thing where we have people on to talk about stuff. It's a mutual. I don't want it to feel like he's doing me a favor, you know?
Yeah.
Because there might be a time where I might want to ask him a favor, and I don't want to burn
and
it
you
on.
feel
this,
like you're going to burn
you know.
it, yeah. To answer your question, Mike, about like myself on stage, I think you've heard me talk about on this, and you and I probably have had conversations that I don't think that is the quick answer to that is I don't think I'm the funniest that I can be how I've been doing it. And so I'm trying to still develop whatever that more genuine voice is. But I turn it to you now, question. What, knowing me for so long, what do you think is the funniest version of me? And have you seen glimpses of that through any of the stand-up that you've seen me do or over the years?
I would have to say, like, okay, if you're telling me to compare, and now we can go all the way back to Taco Kitty.
All the way back to Taco Kitty.
To now, because I mean, I mean, there's still bits that you did in like 2005 and 6 that I think about and laugh. Like,
really, anything you remember that you could?
The Lisa Lohan joke, or not Lisa, is
Lindsay Lohan. Oh God. Yeah, this will tell you how I did zero personal, and I was just writing like weekend update jokes. Lindsay Lohan recently got pulled over for drinking and driving. She blew a 1.08 and 3 of the cops, or something like that.
Just like I just remember that joke for a long time ago, and then there
real
was one
MC,
about, like,
real MC material.
Like Cheeto dust or something on your hands, like
getting stoned and eating a 1-pound bag of Cheetos. Yes,
but it had something to do with like Oompa Loompas. I can't remember.
Yes, about fisting an Oompa Loompa. Yes.
Oh geez. but I mean, if you think like, okay, when you were doing like the
wearing a corduroy jacket. Wearing a corduroy jacket with elbow pads, having feathered hair and glasses in 2005, 2006. That was like in jeans.
You did have the corduroy jacket. Yeah. That's a lot. But I mean, I'm liking where you're trying to go now, where like your idea with using someone in the crowd. And, you know, when I watched.
Oh, actually, since you're being nice to Ricky, I'm gonna step away for a minute. So
well, I was gonna say it like all of the criticisms.
You know what? I'm gonna go pee too. You talk for a minute.
That Glenn had said, I totally agreed with, and I think that giving away your position on the stage was not a good move. It definitely needs tightened up. But other than that, I like the idea of trying to, because there's a lot of comedians right now that's all they do is crowd work. So it's popular. So maybe take a bite out of that and see where it goes. Now that they're gone, I want to talk to you about a movie that I care about deeply that you probably will never watch nor like, and it's called Platoon of the Dead. Platoon of the Dead is a low budget, would be an overstatement. It was a no budget movie. It was from 2009. You might still be able to find it on like Tubi or Amazon. I'm not sure that you would, but if you did, it's by a guy named John Falker.
What's going on?
And,
we got French soloing?
Yeah, I was talking about Platoon of the Dead.
Oh.
Hey, so thank
it-
you for saying all that, Mike. That was so nice of you to, like, all those words that you chose to say to represent my comedy and what I do. That is from the bottom of my heart and yours. I know that it's an earnest viewpoint from maybe not a brother of the same mother, but
What am I wrong in saying that there's been a huge uptick in comedians using crowd work as most of their material? Or is that something that's
I
been a
think
staple
it's
for a long time? Because I don't remember it being a staple of their set for a long time.
I think it's
Like,
largely overstated how much crowd work clips popping up have changed what comedians are doing on stage.
yes.
I think it's changed what we're posting for
mhm.
sure. But
Well, it's
at
like
least,
Ian Bagg though. Like people were like, "Oh man, people are doing now what Ian Bagg has done for years." It's like you
yes,
go and
there's
see Ian
comics who've
Bagg.
always done it.
You watch on Harlan Williams, like there's just the two I can think of off the top of my head, having worked in a comedy club and see them make this. Having worked with them, like my wife saw when I was featuring. Picture just came up. The first time I ever worked at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida, was in 2018, and my in-laws were there, and we had a picture out front. I look about 350 pounds, and I was featured for Ian Bagg, and Allie came, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, his show's hilarious!" And the whole time he's talking to the audience, it's a different show every night. You could come to this show and then come to all the shows, and it would be amazing. And I was like, "Oh, you're coming back Sunday, right?" Because this was Thursday, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll come for the last show." I was like, "All right, great." And she came back and she saw how the sausage is made. Like even shows like you're looking for that spontaneity, but anybody that plays in the world of it's deceitful to think that the audience would have total control over what is going to necessarily be 100% talked about and done, even in a show that seems off the cuff.
Sure.
But
Or I think.
I mean, I guess it would be a posting thing. But I don't remember seeing, in the early 2000s, like in the dawn of Comedy Central, when people were starting to get more specials, and you were like comedy, like because for a while stand-up comedy, I would say, was close to dead. There wasn't anything going on, and then I think you
There was
saw
a
a
bit of a dip,
resurgence
sure.
early 2000s, and you never, I mean, there would be, yeah, you would get like some of like the deaf comedy stuff. They would pick someone out in the crowd and be like, "Oh, look at this guy," or do
Well,
you this
that's
or that.
I
But that's
think
not like crowd work. That's just I'm observing something and I'm trying to be funny by riffing on you for a second.
Well, that's why
But
that generation pushes back on what's going on right now, because they don't love these TikToker crowd working comedians. Even like
mhm,
so like say like again I'm going to use like a Janine Garofalo, Mark Maron, David Cross, which were considered more of the alt scene of the 90s or 80s of New
David
York.
Cross, yeah,
Yeah, and so they don't sit and like write down material, but they go up with ideas and they kind of develop it that way. So
hmm
but they're not usually involving the audience, because a lot of times those comedians looked at it back then as fuck the audience, like I'm
yeah.
working this out.
yeah.
I recently rewatched Patrice O'Neal's big special that he had. I think it was Comedy Central.
I believe
But
it was coming.
he came out and the first thing he said was somebody in the audience, and he pointed them out. And he did about 5-10 minutes, but then the rest of it was just his normal bits.
Well, I think
But
it's a thing comics have always done. Even to an extent where like I don't like doing it, but if there's like an obvious thing about someone in the front row,
Yes.
it's worth addressing.
Sure. Like
It's
somebody
it's the magic
weird
trick of that I'm saying this for the first time.
But
you're hearing this, and
I think doing it well is kind of a high level skill that takes a while to develop, of like just have the experience of being on stage.
when will that happen for me?
Someday, bud. Friend and future guest Jay Black,
Ricky Glore?
told me, because he was a guy who was like one of the first working comics that I got to like open for and like get to talk to about comedy. And I would ask him for advice. He'd bring me to open, and I would try not to be annoying, but I would be like, how do I get to do what you're doing now? And like, I'm happy to open
Did you
for
say
you
Jay
anytime.
Moore?
Jay Black.
Jay
said-
Black.
Okay, I was gonna
It's
say.
like I'm happy to open for Jay Black any day of the week currently. Like I like working with the guy. But it's like, well, I don't want to. I would I'd rather co-headline a show with Jay Black or like whatever, but like whatever. And one of the first pieces of advice he gave me was like, it helps to not care what the audience thinks. And I said, oh, well, that's good because I don't, in like a pathological, like medically relevant way. I don't care what they think. And he's like, right, but you still want the show to go well. So like you do care. And I was like, well, yeah, but I don't care what they think about me. He's like, no, you have to like, when you get to the point that you don't care if the show's going well anymore, not because you're an idiot who doesn't take their job seriously, but because you know it's going to, like, and you're not sweating, oh, I need this to be good. Like, if you're just up there doing the job, right, and you know it's going to be fun, like, then the audience can like sense that level of confidence and they will follow you down that road of just like, all right, we're in good hands. Like, we can listen to this guy talk. And it is a thing where it's like, he told me that in like 2010, right? And a couple times I'm like, I think I finally hit that point. I keep thinking that and then realizing it's like, I do kind of still want it to go good. Like, I've been doing these cruise shows lately, and I want, the cruise shows have been great because they specifically, they're like, you can just do.
Well, you're trapped on a boat. If it doesn't go well,
just
you
stuff.
don't get to go home.
Just do the stuff that you know works.
I'm
like,
the captain now.
They don't want you up there riffing, like, again, not that I have hits,
show.
but they're basically like, just play the hits, man. Like most of the bands out that come are just doing covers of songs these people love. Like just you can just
sing
do the
Barry
Dry Bar
Manilow.
Special, like just do that. And it's great because it's like, oh, I also know this material works. So like, if I go up there and I'm basically doing mostly just the Dry Bar set, it's like, yeah, you guys are going to laugh at this because I've done these enough times to know that if you don't, you're a statistical anomaly. Like
and that crowd is not a comedy crowd.
Yeah.
They are I want to go see a comedian that has a credit, even if they do the thing that I've seen.
There's one guy I met on the last cruise that I did who
say the thing,
who saw me. It was a couple days after the show. He's like, he recognized me. He's like, oh, you're Glenn. And I was like, yeah, I am. And he's like, you're the comic. I was like, correct. And
he's
slept
like, with my wife. Oh,
no, he knew me from Dry Bar. He didn't know I was the comic on the ship until after the show. And he's like, I would have come. I've seen all your stuff. I'm like a legit fan. I was like, incredible. Like, yeah, you should have come. The shows went well.
So sad. Follow me on social media.
But also, I told him, I was like, oh, I was like mostly doing stuff you've probably seen. But then I remembered, like, oh, there is actually a fair amount of newer stuff in there where like I do a lot of the Mr. T stuff, which has not been previously recorded.
It's fantastic. Mike, do you want to help us write a January 6th insurrectionist Mr. T or A-Team episode?
An A-Team episode?
Where do you fall on if the A-Team never went out of existence? If January 6th happens, how do you think, or do you think the A-Team would have been involved? And I don't want to lead your answer.
I think the not leading version of the question is, what do you think the A-Team was doing on January 6th?
if the A-Team existed.
I have to admit, I totally did not watch the A-Team at all. Like,
A-Team version?
I've seen like maybe a couple episodes my whole life. I mean, I know enough about A-Team to tell you what it's about. I mean, it's kind of like vigilante justice in a
Glenn,
in a
could you tell us what it's about?
Sure. Well, in 1972, a crack commander unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit, but these men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground, and today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
Fuck yeah. Boy.
There we go.
I had somebody accused me of reading that. I did
fuck them. You don't
I did a
need that in your
YouTube
life.
a TikTok, because the reason I started doing it on stage was there was a TikTok prompt of a woman being like, what's something useless that you have memorized?
Everything.
And I replied and recited it, and then somebody commented that I was reading it. because I wasn't looking at
And you've
the
never been
camera.
more offended.
And I was like, no, I've had this memorized since I was 5. Like, what are you talking about?
So
'Cause
that
I've
was
done
your
it-
jam, huh? That was
I
your
do
show.
it for I've been doing it for a mic check my entire career because I'm like, I feel self-conscious standing in front of like a sound guy and talk. Like, I will stand in front of 1,000 people and tell you jokes. That's fine. But if it's just me on stage in an empty theater with a sound guy being like, yeah, talking to the mic a little bit, it's like, I don't know what to say. That's why people count. It's like, you just need to make sounds with your mouth.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, counting
So
feels dumb. So let me like say a thing, but I don't want to do material at you. I will just recite the opening to the A-Team.
now a question about the A-Team.
Yeah.
Are they still being pursued by the police? Like, are they like Spider-Man, where like they're fighting crime, but cops are fighting them too?
Well, it ends a little bit unresolved in the terrible season 5 because Hunt Stockwell kind of seizes control of the A-Team.
Robert Vaughn.
He
Hijack.
basically dangles a pardon in front of them,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's like, if you
Okay.
complete
Trial of the A-Team.
So it's
If you
it's like
complete-
Suicide Squad.
kind of, yeah. He's like, if you complete a certain number of missions for me, you will all be
An
pardoned.
indiscriminate number of missions for
I
how
think
many
he lays a
seasons we
num-
get picked up for.
I think he lays a number out,
He
but
Shawshank Redemptioned him.
but I don't remember
was
what
the
the number
longest
is.
night
But it's
of
like,
Mr.
oh,
T's life.
well, because they've done 4 seasons of the show, and
Yeah,
he is
yeah.
introduced
If we
in the
could get
last
at
couple
least, like,
episodes
4
of season
more.
4, and
Yeah.
they're like, how do we keep this going? Because it like peaks in season 3. By season 4, people are like, oh, it's the same thing every week, and then they're like, all right, we gotta like
Yeah,
Duh.
keep it
add a
coming.
new dynamic. So
Who
like
cares?
they go from more of this kind of like Vietnam War movie thing to like more of a spy thriller because he is like
Because they realize Vietnam shit bums people out.
he is like a deep state CIA guy, and he's like, if you guys can, I will. So they get arrested and then they escape. He won't help them. He's like, if you escape, because they are jailed and sentenced to death,
But
because
if
they
you
changed
infiltrate January 6th in the
Well,
Capitol,
the
be
crime
set
they
free.
are. The crime mentioned in the opening is they rob the Bank of Hanoi, but they do it under orders, so it is technically not a crime. It is a
Yes.
crime, but it's their superior
were ordered.
officer
Yeah.
would.
They're just
answer for the
following
crime,
orders.
Yes.
not them.
Yeah.
But then they
Killers.
retcon it in season 4 to like then they are accused of murdering their superior officer because the reason they are on the run is because he ends up dead. But it's not till later that they're like, oh, and they killed him.
Did they?
No, he's alive. But
Oh, did he?
uh,
Is he bad? Does he come back as a villain later on?
no, it's so he
Welcome back
turns
to
up.
the A-Team cast.
Yeah,
A-cast.
he turns. It's the plot of the movie version too. Is like
I've never seen the movie.
it's not very good. Patrick Wilson's having a great time in it though.
Yeah.
But the plot of the movie is like
And Bradley Cooper, you said, appropriately cast.
Bradley
His
Cooper is
face.
so good as Face. Liam Neeson is also in the film.
As is his hog.
And the guy from District 9 is Murdoch, but he is like in the TV show. Like he is not
He's playing the show.
he is not acting in the movie that is around him, which he's supposed to be insane, which I guess works a little bit, but he is like
TV
Looney
insane.
Tunes
Yeah.
while everyone else is trying to do like Die Hard.
Yeah.
And the show, the rest of the characters were operating in a different tone than him, but it fit.
Yeah.
But in the movie, so their commanding officer who orders them to pull this heist gets killed, but then turns up, and then you realize like he was just trying to cash in, and he's willing to throw these guys under the bus.
Yeah. Class.
So they get arrested and framed for this murder, and they get sentenced to death. And then Hunt Stockwell rolls up and he's like, hey, if you guys get out of here, I can get you a pardon. And they're like, okay, well, you're going to help us escape? He's like, no, absolutely not. No. That would make me look bad. But if you guys get out, hey, best of luck.
And as he's like, if you guys get out, and he slides a birthday cake that has like dynamite as the candles.
Right.
It's like,
Not even
just
that.
However you get out.
He won't go that far. But basically the premise of season 5 is you guys escape from prison. If you do these missions for me, I will get you a pardon. But then the show gets canceled because season 5 sucks. So it's not even like a full season, if I remember correctly. So they don't do all of the missions. So in theory, if it kept going, they would have finished the Hunt Stockwell missions. He would have come up with some bullshit reason to keep them on, and then they would have escaped somehow because they're the A-team. That's what they do. But if they kept going, my contention is that they would not have been raiding the Capitol on January 6th, and Ricky's on the opposite side of that
I
fence,
think, like a lot
of
of
that
times,
literal fence.
I will
around
tell
the
you my
Capitol building.
case is that they were actually it's a government mission, that they are acting like they are part of the insurrection because there's something else they actually have to do, because like one of the senators is actually
Well, that's the thing. So there's
it is MI6ing, like wearing a mask.
okay.
So they have
I don't
to go
think
in
I
and
paid
get them.
attention when you said that part, because that part I'm kind of on board with, because there is
Okay.
an episode where
Yeah,
a general
I said it,
offers
the Chuck E. Cheese, like they have a lot of times A teams like fuck. One of the things we got to do is like we got to act like we're operators of this restaurant.
we have to book
for
a
this
Boy
drug
George concert.
mafia. Yeah,
It's a real episode. It
yeah, they have to
rules.
book a Boy George concert, right?
Well, because they
I
were
don't
trying
think
to
I'm
book
saying
Wow.
anything
Boy
too
George,
outlandish. Yeah,
a country artist who happens to look exactly like Hannibal Smith, but through a booking error, Face accidentally books Boy George and Culture Club to play this honky tonk bar in the middle of the desert. It's
And they
the
all
Oh, that's
dumbest,
roll
awesome.
something.
but also one of the best episodes.
That sounds great.
But there's another episode where a general like dangles a pardon, but only for Face, where they're like, "Hey," and I forget what he has to do. He doesn't have to roll on the other
It's
on the
real
rest.
nasty.
Yeah, he doesn't have to
Whatever it
roll
is.
on the rest of the A team, but he does quit. He's like, I can't turn this down. And everyone else in the A team is like, this is an obvious trap, you idiot. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, but I could go back to like having
But
a
we
life.
need a plot line for this episode.
Yeah. So there are times I don't think that they would. My point is, I don't think they would genuinely have been raiding the Capitol. But like the thing where it's like, no, they have to make it look like they are.
Yeah.
They're using that as
Yeah.
an opportunity
Yeah,
for
it's the
something
ruse.
else.
It's the ruse.
There's times where like they pretended to be bad guys for a little bit for a greater
Sure.
good. Like
I mean,
don't-
I can just
I
see that
genuinely don't
van
remember what we're
crashing
talking
through
about.
the rotunda.
yeah,
so good. And then also Mr. T
Murdoch
coming in there
is
just
dressed
looking
at
like
he's
Mr.
the
T.
guy with the
the
horns.
buffalo. Yeah, and then Mr. T's just wearing his wearing his
Yeah,
overalls.
Mr. T just shows up as Mr. T.
Yeah.
Also the greatest.
And Face is playing like a senator or whatever, and it's really there's a mole in the Senate that they're
Yeah.
actually going in and participating in January 6th to get out the mole.
But I love the A team. I don't remember why we
Mike,
started talking about it, but
Do you have another half an hour?
I've got a little more time, yeah.
Okay. Whatever you want to ask, man. Whatever you want to talk about. You've listened to the show. Is there anything in the world of comedy or about, us, like me, you and I talk pretty frequently. I don't think there's anything you've ever wanted to know about me that you're like, I'll save it for a podcast.
There was something before that I totally got derailed.
Was it,
Um,
we've talked to you and I about like our discussion on here about clean comedy,
Oh, clean comedy. Yeah, that's a good topic. Yeah.
but we also
do-
don't have to
I-
burn everything.
No, because I remember it was a couple episodes back where you may have been more, but Glenn, you were talking about the issues that you're having with like people trying to watch your like come to see you, and their only experience is the dry bar stuff, and then they're like sort of get disenfranchised, I guess, because it's not the exact same thing.
yeah, I mean it's happened online more than in person. Like I'll get
Okay.
comments on stuff where
Yeah.
like if I post a clip of here swearing and talking about my big hog, then like somebody might be like, oh, this isn't what I thought your podcast would be. Like
Your
that's
stuff
not
was.
They're
specifically
like, this
happened,
isn't
but
clean. You're like, it is. I wash it down every morning.
So clean.
Because if it drags,
I use Steve
throughout the
Martin's penis
house.
beautification cream. And it's happened online a couple times. It has happened in person. Like I did shows, but they weren't even talking about me specifically. I did a bar show in Denver once, and I posted about it, and then people who know me from Dry Bar are like, oh great, we'll come. And my set was, at least relative to the other comics on the lineup, was clean. But they're like, oh, the show was not what we thought the show was going to be. And I'm like, well, I don't know. This is what comedy is. I don't feel bad that this is, but
We trusted you. You were a safety net.
If you tell, like, if I'm doing a show and if we happen to talk beforehand and you're like, oh, I know you from Dry Bar, I'm gonna be like, oh, well, just so you know, I might say PP on stage or whatever. I think most people will be like, yeah, that's fine. I know you from Dry Bar, but I don't work for them. Like, yeah, but I'm not here to double check your stuff.
And I got you, motherfucker. You're under arrest.
But I don't think,
on that
clean or
stage.
not, I think if
And you're like, you just called me motherfucker.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn it. Oh, shit. Oh, you have to arrest me now.
What have I become?
Regardless of what it is, if you go to try to see a performer and the thing they do is very different than what you were expecting, like, that could be off-putting. Like, I mean, God, there's probably people who go see Steve Martin do bluegrass and they're like, oh, I thought it would be funnier. Like, and it's like, no, he's earnestly playing bluegrass.
He's there to play a banjo.
And I've seen him do it, and he does jokes in between, and some of the songs are funny. And like, there's jokes, but it is not a comedy show. It is very much, he is earnestly trying to do a good job at doing music, and he does. He's great at the banjo. So if you see me and you think like, oh, well, Glenn, you know, I'm sure he said some bad words in some of his other specials, but he, you know, usually works clean, does a lot of jokes about his kids or whatever. And then I just go up and talk about murdering puppies for 45 minutes. People would be like, ooh, I really didn't think there'd be so much.
My complaint would be
murder,
that there was so much puppy murder that I think that should have been part of your marketing. And then the thematic nature of all of that puppy murder should just be the gimmick of the show.
Well, that
Glenn Tickle talks about puppy murder.
That was good grief. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When I brought up jokes about my brother dying in a car accident in a regular comedy show, I would lose the audience almost immediately because that is a wild thing to bring up in the middle of a regular comedy showcase.
It's a hard pivot, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, I can't do this to the audience or the other performers. Like, I have to let people know that this is coming, because I think the jokes are good, but I think you have to know what you're getting into to want to hear them. With the new, so Glenn Tickle Tries to Be a Person, I think, is less that. I have pretty successfully worked most of this material into regular stand-up shows.
But you still have that fuck, right?
It's still in there.
Still got that fuck.
I think it helps to sell it with a theme of like, this is now largely a show about autism. It wasn't when I pitched it to the Rochester Fringe Festival, when I thought of the title, autism was maybe going to get mentioned a couple times, but now it is like, no, this is most of it now. Like, there's jokes, but now it is like, oh, there's regular jokes not on this theme that are now getting cut from the show to allow more room for jokes about this topic specifically.
Jokes that are as equally funny or funnier.
Yeah, it's just they don't, and it happened with Crime League too. And Crime League was very much just, oh, it's been a couple years since I've recorded something. I have enough material. I might as well just set a date, and record. And then as I was putting that together, you do kind of have to make decisions about what jokes make the list and what ones don't. And for Crime League, the jokes that got cut were mostly I said the puppy thing, but it was mostly jokes about dead animals that got cut because there were so many of them. And like,
you put them in a folder that you get a notification on your phone. It's like, you now have 50 dead animal jokes, and you're like, well, now it's time for their own special.
Well, that's the thing, is like, unless I make this the theme of the show, I have to cut some of these out because
for you,
it was an insane. So in World Crime League, there's jokes about dead zebras. There's jokes about my dead dog Elvis. The chickens that got sent through the mail that probably died.
No.
Emus were getting gunned down in Australia.
And these are the ones I loved watching. I loved watching people really take in your emu stuff, because I watched you do that in a couple different live shows.
Are you talking about the emu war?
Interesting.
Yeah. The Great Emu War that Australia lost.
It was a real hitter. It was a great hit or miss with a live audience and you could tell, or this is the 2 shows I saw you do. I think this bit at the audience was either with it immediately or never.
It well,
Yeah.
it started. I explained it in the joke, but like it started as a throwaway line because I thought everyone knew about it. So I thought it's like, oh,
Yes.
I can make a reference to the Great Emu War of 1923, and everyone's immediately going to be on board. But the first time I did it and it got nothing, I just asked. I was like, "Do you guys not?
And
Do you guys not? I was expecting you to react, but did you guys not know?" And they're like, "We have no idea what you're talking about." And it's like, okay. And then it's like,
it's the MST3K of it all. That's the kind of joke where if I'm with an audience and one person laughs, I'm immediately like, fuck, I got to look that up. Like, I got to find out like why that is funny. And then I'm going to be like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Like,
Well,
I used to do a bit about the Chicago Cubs used to be the Chicago Orphans. And I was just like, what is that mascot? Like, that is like, this
It's a
bit,
sad kid.
but like people are just like, it's just sad. Like, that's just a sad premise. Like,
yeah,
we don't know about it, but we also don't care. So
kind of bums us out, for being honest.
Yeah.
So with the emu thing, it's like, okay, people don't know about this thing. So I can move on, take the feedback that audiences won't know what I'm talking about, or add a history lesson to the middle of the joke where it's like, no, I'm right. It is funny that I compare these zebras getting out to the Great Emu War. You guys just don't know enough to understand why it's so funny and why I'm so smart and clever. So I'm now going to give you the required information so that retroactively you guys are like, nah, he's right. That's a funny line. And when I did it the first time, it's like, oh, I don't know how to make this explanation funny yet, but like I will just I dryly told the audience, I was like, okay, so here's what happened. And then when you explain it, it's a wild story. So people are like on board. I think the way to do it, so there's a joke that I'm working on now. I don't want to give it away because it's currently what I'm closing the show on. But there is like a bit of a history lesson in it. And it's like, oh, I changed the order that I did things in. So I presented a thing that I've made and I was like, oh, and it's got this guy's name on it. And then here's why it's this name. And it's like, no, I have to tell the story first. I have to give them the context. And then the reveal is I've made this thing using this guy's name. So Rochester Fringe Festival, September 19th through 18th through 20th. You can come find out.
Solve that mystery box.
Yeah, you can. I should have a copy of the thing that I'm making. They should be in hand before the goal is to have them to sell as merch at the Fringe Festival. I'll tell you guys when we're not live. But yeah, it is. Well, because part of it is like ending a sketch is very hard. Ending a comedy show, you can just say, thank you, good night, and people will clap and you walk away. But I feel like there's pressure on, I might just be putting it on myself, but it's like, well, I need a closer. Like I need the bit that you guys are going to remember. Like, that's why I keep doing the Dan Huff thing. Oh, hello, doggy.
Doggy cam.
Like if you see me on one of the cruises,
close
like
with animals with wide angle lenses.
Yeah, I'm going to do the Dan Huff thing on the cruise show because it's really fun to make a theater full of people yell at a guy, and everyone has a good time with it. And it's like, yes, I've been doing that joke a very long time. I would look down on another comedian for sticking with a closer as long as I've stuck with this one, where it's like, oh, like Bert Kreischer still does The Machine. It's like, dog, right? Think of another story. But he comes out and does it.
It's pretty good.
It becomes Hot Pockets though. For
but he comes out and does it at the end. Like he still does a show, and then because he knows people want it, he does it as like an encore. Which if you watch, I think it's in my first album. I think the fake walk off is in there, but it was like as a way to like loop it. But the Dry Bar special misses half that story because there's like a fake walk off. So now if you see me live, it's like you're seeing the thing you've probably already seen, but it's different. You're getting more of the story than you have. but it's so fun to do. But with this one, it's like, well, I know I can't end on that. With Crime League, it's like I ended on the story about talking about being from New Jersey and the thing with the local paper saying that Jason Voorhees is the most famous person from my county, even though it's me.
Even though you're a real person.
Yeah, and it's like, well, that's a bit of a longer joke. It has an arc and like I think a payoff at the end that makes sense to be like, now is the time where I walk off stage. So coming up with like,
especially since you ended by saying now is the time that I walk off stage.
Or I say I'm from New Jersey. I'm going back there now because we filmed it in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And then I walk off the stage. It's fun. So anytime I'm like, okay, I have to work on a new hour. I need I need something strong enough to end on. And this stuff didn't have that yet. And then it came out of Ricky. I sent you a text to say thank you. But in the last episode, you're like, are you looking at the audience as like a jury to decide whether or not you're autistic? And I said on the podcast, I was like, I think so. Yeah, I think I'm not going to have them vote and find out. Like, I don't care about that. But that is how I'm presenting this information of like, I'm trying to convince you, audience, that this doctor is wrong and I am correct. And the closing bit kind of came out of that. I had the idea for it already, but like the structure of it, it's like, well, now
I get it. I can't take any credit for it. You came up with it before that. It was
well, no, really like cool the thing, it's the same thing where like I'm making a thing that is that will be the closer. That idea, and I think I talked about it with you before. I might have even. If you're an avid listener, you might even be able to go back and figure out what I'm talking about from context. Ooh, it's a mystery. But it was part of the autism assessment process that I take issue with. So it is similar to the Dan Huff thing of like, it is a long running bit on this show and in my stand-up. I'm very petty. Like I will respond to the smallest slight with a disproportionate reaction, largely for comedy. It's because I think it's funny, but also it's like, no, I'm genuinely mad at you, autism assessment. And this isn't even the woman who did it. This is like the assessment itself. There's part of it that is like, this sucks. So I'm making a thing with the intention of negating that part of the assessment where it's like, if this goes how I want it to go, they have to cut that part. They can't do it anymore. Like that's because I'm mad within their testing. I didn't get the results I was expecting, but also this question specifically pisses me off. I don't think it should be in here. What can I do as a dumb comedian to change this? It's like, I can make it so that this question doesn't make sense anymore. And
that's the follow-up special, where you secretly film yourself if they're not going to give you the tapes.
Yeah, God,
that you doing a set during the assessment. And you specifically use that question as the apex.
Well, it's in one of the self-assessment surveys that you fill out. So it's not like it wouldn't. It's this part's not on the camera.
But I'm saying,
I think I brought it up as a thing that I genuinely...
You could bring it. That's what I'm saying is you could bring it up as the thing of like, do you think you could get a different result?
I think a better doctor would have correctly diagnosed is like, I would say like, oh, not to be a dick about it, but I will be a dick about it. You fucked up, doc. Like you got the wrong diagnosis. You did a bad job. I do think, I don't know if it's going to end up in the final special, but when I was talking to myself in the car on the drive to New Hampshire, what I think happened, because I had a fair amount of interaction with this doctor, and she seemed very nice and kind of like on my side. Like a lot of it was like, oh, well, like I do this because I'm autistic, right? And she's like, mm-hmm. And then when I got the results, she told me, she's like, well, I conferred with my colleague, and then it was the colleague that said, well, he's married, so he has no problem forming relationships. And that was the part where like I immediately turned on these people. I was like, how dare, like that's insulting. I did get permission.
Categorically wrong. There's plenty of people.
It is unrelated. Also, I got permission from her to bring this up because I've been mentioning it as like, oh, people in my life that I care about have been diagnosed as autistic.
Anybody can literally
get
get
the
married as
sentence
long
out.
as they.
You
Yeah.
monster.
I mean, have
So-
you, not to derail you, but have you guys ever seen like Love on the Spectrum?
Yeah.
Yes, that's yeah.
I haven't
Brought that up before, yeah.
That's proof right there. Like, well,
questionably
even just throughout
problematic
history,
show, but
how many 80-year-old men who have a full train set in their basement,
yeah.
who have been married with kids, grandkids, and everything? Like,
Yeah.
you're telling me that's not a little bit of that?
My
tism in
grandfather,
there?
who would unsolder electronic components before getting rid of an old VCR that doesn't work anymore in case he ever
Yeah.
needed that resistor. Yeah, that's autism, dog. But the
Yeah,
line,
autism stuff.
when I talk about it publicly, I've always just said, oh, people in my life that I care about have been diagnosed. One of them is my wife. I checked with her to make sure that I can tell people that. And she's like, absolutely.
And you're like, how can you be diagnosed
Yeah.
autistic and I have a husband, but I can't be diagnosed autistic
So
because I have a wife?
So when the doctor's like, oh, well, you're married, you clearly have no problem forming relationships. It's like, I'm married to an autistic woman. What are you talking about? And it's also like a woman that I met when we
The
were
most
12.
autistic thing you could do
Yeah.
is find someone who understands because
Yeah.
they too share.
You find another autistic kid in middle school, and then you guys
Yes.
just hang out forever until you get married. Like that's
Because you don't want to change.
yeah. And it's like that's
You're like, look, I hate to do your job for you, but I thought by me telling you that this was like a
yeah. Like I talked to the doctors about it. It's just I haven't been public because like it's I don't want to speak for my wife, but I checked because now since so much of the show is about this, it's like it's clearer to people what is going on if I tell them. But I if you don't want me to, I won't. And she's like, I don't care. You can tell everybody I'm autistic. But that was the part where it's like, oh, you're bad at your job. Like if that's why you're telling me I'm not autistic. And it's an 11-page report that they sent me, and 10 and a half pages of it sure read like you've been talking to a 42-year-old autistic man. She notes every time I brought up Mr. T or Buckaroo Banzai. And then at the very end, she's like, yeah, but he's not autistic though. And I was like, what are you talking? Read your own fucking report that you made. It's maddening.
Look, Glenn, you're not autistic. That's all I can say right now.
You're too blurry on my end to understand what you're trying to make.
Oh, sorry. It was a physical bit.
But part of it was
that she was threatened by someone to not be able to disclose that you're actually
kind of what I think. So I think I just think, and I'm sure this happens in medicine just like any other field, it is a female employee being steamrolled by a man that she works with. She was the one who did the assessment. She did the intake. She was the one that I talked to. And then some dude, there's no way he watched the whole video, right? Like there's no way he sat down and watched a 2-hour conversation on an iPhone. He probably scrubbed it and he's like, oh, he's married. Yeah, no, he's not autistic.
We discussed the impairment of the auditor on air, or was that just between the two of us?
You mean with the eye contact?
Yeah. We talked about the eye contact and how she has a lazy eye that I didn't know.
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't a personal.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that wasn't a personal thing. That was the most you and I talked
telling.
about.
Yeah. But also,
that was the most telling.
Have you worked that as a bit on stage yet?
No. I haven't done shows where I can really bring it up. I've been doing like the cruises and corporate stuff where it's like we're not actually super into navel gazing new bits.
Yeah.
But like a regular show, like I've talked about it a bit at some of the Daddios shows, I don't think I did that joke specifically because I hadn't gotten the results yet. But I like doing the line where I first bring up autism and then, I don't do the Gaffigan voice, but it's like speaking for the audience thing of like, well, Glenn, you can't be autistic. You bring up Mr. T the normal amount, because at that point in the current show, I've already brought him up in 3 separate stories, like over the course of the 15-ish minutes that make up Act 1. And it's like, yeah, it is on purpose, right? Like I'm now talking about him more to get that joke to work. But all those jokes, he came up in all those jokes kind of organically because I have a special interest with Mr. T and the A-Team. So it's like, yeah, I bring them up. I talk about it. Like if you talk to me long enough, I will bring up the A-Team and I will bring up Buckaroo Banzai. I will tell you that my daughter's named after a Doctor Who character. I will talk about things that I'm interested in to try to deflect from whatever boring shit you want to talk about. It's why, like, when people bring up sports to me, I try to pivot to chess because it's like the closest thing I've got where I can like relate to a sports conversation is like, oh yeah, I don't know, baseball's boring actually. You want to talk about the exciting world of chess? And almost never has anybody been like, yes, I would love to. But I keep bringing up the things that I'm interested in, which is a very autistic trait, doctor. But I do think, back to your initial question 10 minutes ago, of like, I do think most people, even most people who know me from Dry Bar, are fine with if I say a bad word on stage. But I think some of them aren't, because some of them only seek out Dry Bar stuff because they want to know that what they're watching is safe and clean to watch with grandma or whatever. And I don't think
Sure.
that's bad necessarily. I just think we talked about it last week. Like, do the research of the comedy that you're going to watch. And if you're going to like a local bar show, just accept someone's going to say something messed up. You know, like,
We're in a bar.
You don't have to be cool with it, but like, know it's going to happen. Like, if somebody says something you find reprehensible, you can be angry, but don't be surprised. You know, like, I'm not defending people being shitty in comedy. I would love it if they knocked it off, but you gotta know going in that that's a
You
risk.
You can also say boo.
Yes. Can we bring back? I genuinely swear to God, bring back booing.
You can just say boo. Yeah.
Like, actively.
Boo.
Like, if someone says something you don't like and you're at a comedy show, boo that person. Don't heckle. Don't interrupt the show.
Boo that man. Yeah.
But they want you to react by laughing, right? So they want you to react. Don't.
There is a period of time after they say something that there is a reaction acceptance. And some people may laugh, some people may cheer, some people may woot. You also may boo.
Booing is an option. If you come see me and you hear a joke about Mr. T that you truly hate, you boo. Boo me. Don't boo Mr. T. He's a lot bigger than me. And even in his advanced years could probably rip your arms off like Chewbacca. But yeah, I did it at an open. I think I talked about months ago, right? Because I was hosting that open mic, and it was before I started hosting. But like, some old idiot was like saying heinous things where I was just like, boo. I don't like. This is not my mic. I can't cut your mic and get you off stage. But like, I want you to know, and I want the people in the room to know that I hate this. But again, like, booing, I think, is a valid response. I don't think arguing or like really interrupting the show or heckling is.
Yeah, heckling is a line.
Unacceptable.
A lot.
But I don't think booing.
I don't see like. No, it isn't. It isn't. You're saying what? It's the same thing as a clap or a cheer. You know.
Yeah.
You do it for a second and you move on. They can choose to respond to it.
Yeah.
But
if you
don't have
you do it nonstop for 20 minutes, then yes, then get out.
That turns into heckling. Yeah.
But it's the same. Like, if you scream laugh at the first joke, but you don't stop for the rest of the show, that's also a distracting problem, and we need you to stop doing that.
If you're in the front row laughing nonstop, weirdly, like,
God, my friend dated a girl in college, and we had to tell him to stop bringing her to screenings because her laugh was so terrible, and like all her shorts, we were trying. They were.
Sure, that was a great conversation.
And it's like, hey, can you stop? Can you stop bringing her? Because we don't. It makes us want to not put jokes in these because we don't want to hear her terrible laugh.
She touches my wiener. She's coming wherever I go. She comes, and then you're like, bye bye, friend.
You don't know him, but that's actually a perfect impression of how he talks.
Look, here's the thing, Glenn.
She goes downtown,
so pass on that recommendation. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, I mean, I did go to college in Jersey, so I genuinely know people who talk like that.
Hey, forget about it.
Flincham, do you have anything you want to plug,
6
bud?
minutes.
Do you got anything going on?
No, I'm an immensely
gotta have
boring
you back
person.
again to just freeform talk another time, as long as you'd like to spend another 2.5 hours with us.
I kind of got a little discouraged when the computer wasn't working because I had some things.
That's okay.
I had some things with it, but holding this phone, it wouldn't play as well. So I'm gonna pocket that if I ever get a chance to come back. I'm gonna make sure I have I have a better computer, I guess. I don't know. I thought it would be
You had
fun.
an agenda.
Oh yeah, no, I had some things, but
We'll do
I
it
can't
again.
do it on the phone.
I don't like ending. I don't like ending on a sad mic. Well, yeah, we will definitely have you back again because this is just the introduction. This is just the tip of the mic. This is not the open mic. We'll call the next episode open mic. Open mic night at 9 a.m. Where can people read any of the stuff that you have out there that you have
Like books I've
published?
written.
Yeah, books.
It's all on Amazon. Just Mike Flincham. If you,
Okay.
I mean,
And if you want to watch
it's all digital.
Gates of
All
Hell or
Hell's
Gates
Gate.
to Hell.
Yeah.
Hell's Gate.
Hell's Gate's on YouTube. If you type in Hell's Gate 2009, you can watch it. It's there if you want to. It's terrible.
Look,
the
Bobby
way
Mackey's isn't there anymore. That's one of the last surviving like artifacts to show like what Bobby Mackey's look like inside.
Yeah, and it's the only way that I can explain the movie is if it's an hour and a half of unsolved mysteries, dramatic takes. So whenever they did like the dramatic reenactments, it's an hour and a half of that.
Got it. I'll have to check
with
it out.
bad lighting and bad dialogue and everything.
Oh, Glenn. Oh, I would love to hear what you think about it. I'm gonna guess you would make it 6 minutes.
Not even.
Nope.
The first 10
I
minutes
watched
are
the
the
whole thing
hardest to
now
watch.
because we've had them on, and now I feel like I would have to. But
No, it's very hard to watch.
He didn't make it. He's just in it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then I'll probably bail.
Yeah. No.
I had an obligation to see it through.
Sure.
Yeah.
Self-appointed obligation. Anything positive to end on for these last couple minutes before we wrap up and say goodbye and I play the last couple minutes of the song?
From me or from Mike?
From anybody. I like positivity.
I mean, I mentioned it.
Anybody have anything positive is like, God, no.
I talked about it already, and I described it as being fairly exhausting, but like the weekend of getting to meet people whose work I really love, and also just some of the other people who also like that stuff was incredible, because like neither movie that I saw this weekend is like popular. It's not like I saw a screening of Star Wars with George Lucas. I went to see a fictionalized movie about a guy with a paper mache head, and then Buckaroo Banzai. And it's like not a ton of people. I mean, the screening was pretty full at Dartmouth for Buckaroo, and it was a really small event for Frank, but like they packed it out. So like there's people who care about these things, but I don't know a lot of them in my day-to-day life. So it was great to be around other people who really like the weird stuff that I like, and to have at least one thing in common. I mentioned how I find it easier to talk to other comedians because we at least have that in common. But if you go to like an event where everyone there also loves Buckaroo Banzai, it's like, well, yeah, we can just talk about this. Like, I don't need to ask you what your job is. I don't care. What do you like the part where they're in the woods, or do you also think it looks like an episode of 80s television? And it's great to have like that one thing as someone who doesn't like talking to strangers, to know going in, it's like, well, we can just default to the one thing. And it was great. So shout out to the Bonsai Institute and the team at World Watch One. That's the fanzine that they published. I wrote an essay about Buckaroo Banzai that they put in the program of the screening. So thank you again for doing that, Dan. And it was great. He changed the end of it because it was originally for the 40th anniversary issue of the fanzine. And the essay is framed as, this is a guide to watching Buckaroo Banzai for the first time, so that you love it as much as I do. But it is just like, that is the framework of me talking about myself and the first time I saw the movie. None of it is practical advice. It is like, be from New Jersey. Do have a decade of a stand-up comedy career behind you. And it's especially like, if you're putting it in a fanzine for a movie from 40 years ago, everyone reading that magazine has already seen the movie. And then also, if you're reading the program for the movie you're about to watch, it's too late to take any of these steps, even if
any of them were legitimately practical. So it is. I genuinely, when I wrote it and sent it to them, I thought they were going to say thank you, but this is not what we were expecting. We're not going to run it. But not only did they publish it twice. So that was nice.
That's
It's
great.
nice. It's nice to meet people who like the same stuff as you. Also, I found out one of the
Anything
guys
from you, sir?
he and I have been in the same room twice before at screenings of Buckaroo Banzai, but didn't know each other then. But then this weekend when we were talking, we knew about one because a mutual friend saw us both post about the screening at the Gap Theater. But then this weekend, he was like, "Oh, I saw it once at the Colonial where they did the Blob," and I was like, "For the 35th anniversary, I was there." And he's like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that's twice now that he and I have been in the same room without knowing each other, and then third time we did. So that's nice.
And now, if your penises touch one more time,
Yeah.
the world comes to an end.
Well, it's the
Wonder Twin Powers activate.
have I talked about Adam Savage telling me what friendship is? Where if you meet somebody twice, you can
Nope.
call them a friend.
Like
I
Adam
did-
Savage from Mythbusters?
Yeah, I did a phone interview with him years ago, and because he came up a lot on the website that I was writing for, as did Bill Nye. So I asked both Bill Nye and the Mythbusters during the interview. I was like, "Hey, you come up a lot on our site. Can we refer to you as our friend now that we've talked?" And Bill Nye was like, "Absolutely, would love it if you did." And then Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman were like, "Don't." And
we don't want to be whatever
Hyman, 'cause he's just
heinous
seems like a
stuff you
weird
talk about
guy.
after the fact. Yeah.
But Adam Savage qualified it. He's like, "Well, I've always heard that if you meet someone twice, you can call them a friend." He's like, "So if we do another interview
Yeah.
down the line, sure." I still haven't. I only talked to him the one time. But
Almost friend, half friend.
But yeah, this guy Rich,
Half-blooded friend.
we have been in the same room twice, but didn't actually meet. And then this weekend we met up a couple of times. So yeah, now it's official, bud.
Now we die together.
Yeah.
Any positive things from you, Mike, before we go?
I just got this copy of Mario Kart.
Oh
Super
yeah.
Nintendo.
SNES.
So
That's
I'm
Rainbow
excited to
Road,
get that.
son. Oh, I love me some Mario Kart. All right, here's the rest of your theme song, and we will have you back again for an open mic episode where hopefully all your internet dreams come true.
Yeah, I promise. If I can get on there with better internet, it'll be good.
This Daddio, the bloodstains are on your hands.
It's got an Iron Maiden feel.
Sing warriors.
Or maybe Judas Priest.
All of those innocent criminals that had to hear me choke. They died a little inside, and they secretly wish that I would choke. You're to blame, my affliction. You are to blame.
Bye-bye, Daddios.
That's awesome.